Just want to stretch there. Welcome to the transparency. Here it is. Jumping right into it. If you catch it on replay, at some point you're going to have an opinion, like the video, thumbs it down, whatever. If you're here, you are here for, this is very rare that we get all the supplemental reports 1 through 135. I've gone through them. So I'm going to just be breaking it down. But before I begin, the hearing that we watched, when they said yesterday, these are called Category A witnesses. Everybody that's listed as a Category A witness, okay? These are Category A witnesses that were lead detectives, Jacksonville Beach Police Department, crime scene detectives, ATF, Bureau of, that is right here, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. These are all people that have seen and were sent the emails that required client attorney privilege according to the defense. So just wanted to point that out, what that is. So here we go. This is literally, these are all of the reports that first responder arrived on scene. So Julie, spur your last name. When the incident happened was on 2/16/2022. Again, that's when the call went out, 911 call went out. Dispatch is arriving. So at approximately 19:59 hours, I was dispatched to Jacksonville Drive Sanctuary Way North in reference to possible gunshots. Okay. So how they went ahead and did this is, I'm going to back up out of here and back up out of me so you can see it all. This is very organized. But up in the corner here where it says 1, so it says supplement number, it says 1. So this is the first report out of all the reports, and it goes with whatever this person did with their report. So Danielle, she, and what it lists first is anything that she was involved in. So she spoke to this person, redacted. That is the wife of Jared. That's the vehicle. They redacted some information there. And so what it does is it inputs all the categories first of anybody that you had spoke to and what the articles are. So see how it says west side of roadway marker number 11, white, red, and blue, west side of roadway marker number 12. Oh. I might have to take some of these pieces out. But so what I'm going to do for today is I'm going to go straight to just read off the items. But the most important part that I'm just going to be talking about today are the reports, the narrative right there. Again, so they put the items first, and then at the end of their report, okay, so this is what you call the narrative. So there's going to be a narrative, all right, which is this, and then after a narrative comes all the supplementals. So now I responded to the area of Sanctuary Boulevard between Jacksonville Drive and Sanctuary Parkway to a report of a person having been shot. Upon arrival, I observed 2 white cars parked on Sanctuary Boulevard, California tag, Florida tag, and a black Volkswagen SUV. The black Volkswagen is Jared's Volkswagen SUV. And his vehicle was stopped with hazards on and open driver's side door further south of the white cars. I observed a damaged tire on the ground in front of the Volkswagen. All of the listed vehicles were facing southbound on Sanctuary Boulevard, so they were behind Jared's SUV. Officer Corey, number 1204, Sergeant Smith, 792, and I all arrived on scene at nearly the same time. While Sergeant Smith and Officer Corey went up to the victim's vehicle, I made initial contact with the other two vehicles. I checked on their well-being while gathering their information. In the white vehicles with Florida tag, so again, these are the people that were in there. We're going to move right down to here. I observed Sergeant Smith attempting CPR on the victim, who was laying on the ground to the west of the vehicle and by the open driver's side door. I observed a large amount of blood in an area where the victim was originally laying before being moved by Sergeant Smith in order to perform CPR. I also noticed another area of pooled blood underneath the victim as he laid on his back. The victim was a white male in his 30s with brown hair and wearing a blue shirt and gray pants. I observed he had brown flip-flop. One flip-flop was on his foot and the other laid slightly south of his body. I also observed a gold-colored ring on the victim's left ring finger. The body was covered with a white sheet after it was assessed by rescue units and covered again with an emergency blanket. I ran the vehicle tag through, so it came up with his name. All right. There was reportedly a child in the vehicle at the time of the incident. During my initial contact with the other vehicles and occupants of those, I saw the child. So one of the vehicle's cars, when they went up to Jared's SUV, they got the child. All right. The child responded to the name Brooksy and said she was 2 years old. She did not appear to have any physical injuries. I did not observe any contusions, abrasions, or blood on her. The child was calm and appeared to be comfortable with Cruz, so she remained with her while I completed copying involved parties' information to this report. I did not inquire or ask any questions regarding the facts of this case with any witnesses outside of if they had any suspect information and if they had any injuries themselves. So that's what this person did. Okay. Now, Sergeant Young requested the cell phone inside the vehicle be photographed so that it could be collected immediately, rather than waiting for the entire scene to be processed. And I want to say that this is one of the most thorough reports I've ever seen in all the cases I've done. Like in any case I've covered, this is the most thorough I've seen reporting. Let me go with this really quick. This is the Jared Bridegan, Shanna Gardner, Mario Fernandez case. It says it right there on the thumbnail. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now, I assisted with taking several photographs of where the phone was originally located in the vehicle prior to being collected by Sergeant 795 from the vehicle. I observed 2 holes in the vehicle consistent with that of projectile. One hole was in the center console dash area of the lower right of the steering wheel. The other appeared to be in the middle left area of the passenger side front door. Under the window and close enough to cause the window glass to spider but not break out. While looking into the victim's vehicle to retrieve the cell phone, I did briefly observe several blood stains. Okay. On the ground around the victim, I observed 3 bullet casings. 2 were northwest slightly from the victim, and the other 2 appeared to be west. So this is interesting. Right here in this report, on the ground around the victim, I observed 3 bullet casings. 2 were northwest slightly from the victim, and the other 2, so wouldn't that be 4? Okay, so just going to point that out. The 2 casings to the north, or I'm sorry, to the south of the body were in close proximity, that they were easy to see and avoid. I placed a blank department field contact card, so like those yellow cards, next to the casing in the furthest north of the body in order to assist with seeing its location. So there you go. When the medical examiner arrived, I assisted with photographing several photographs to avoid cross-contamination with the medical examiner and his camera. The body was not moved after Sergeant Smith attempted CPR, and the deceased was assessed by rescue until the medical examiner arrived on scene to process the body. Now, we're going to have, this is an interesting sentence here, and we're going to come back to it because I have 2 police officers doing CPR before fire and rescue comes. So I made that note. Once the body was moved and turned by the medical examiner, a silver-colored projectile was located under the body. As the medical examiner was assessing the body, I observed 2 holes here in the shirt in the area of the left shoulder. Once the shirt was moved, I observed a hole to the left shoulder area. The North Florida body removal team arrived and removed the body from the scene. I assisted lead evidence technician Jarman and Officer Lang Gloose with a portion of the laser mapping for the scene. I later copied my photographs to a photography disc and created a photo log for those photos. I submitted that photo log and disc to the property room as evidence. So that was all done on (2/16). Now it goes into the next day because if it goes past midnight, it's 2/17. Again, same report. On 2/17, I responded to the Jacksonville Beach Police Department property room where I assisted with processing the collecting evidence from the victim's vehicle. I assisted lead evidence technician. So that's what this person did. These were the officers that were involved. So I went ahead and made notes of that. Okay, I assisted evidence technician officer Land. Now they take the L out. Van Goose for the latent prints. There was 2 from the driver's side, rear door, and a quarter panel area. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that with the latent prints. Again, all the contents of the vehicle was removed and placed on an unused tarp for processing. They were photographed. All right. Right here, when Jarman opened the glove box, and that action caused a projectile to fall to the passenger side floorboard. The projectile appeared consistent with the trajectory of the hole to the right area of the radio center console area. You'll hear more about this in the next report. Okay. right. The damaged front passenger window had a hole consistent with a bullet projectile. That's what they're saying. Okay. Now, I'm interested in that because you're going to see when we get to that part. I went ahead and highlighted it. Hold on. There you go. Again, this is still supplemental report number 1. The reason I'm highlighting this is because at the scene, it's going to come out that there are 4 shell casings. 2 are of one brand and 2 are another brand. Okay. And this is something similar that I saw in the Sheldon Jeter Jr. case. So there's 4 shell casings. They kind of mess up. Talk about there was just 3, but 4. And 2 are of one PPU and 2 are another, and it's going to come up. So I go ahead and I want to note that they are not all the same. It's like diapers. They're not all Pampers. There's 2 that would be Huggies and 2 that would be Pampers. And I think that that's interesting. All right. So there we go. Let me just zoom in. Again, I assisted the property officer in the shooting incident reconstruction of the vehicle. We utilized strings. Okay, so this is about doing a recreation of the vehicle. And then we utilize strings and dowel to show an approximate degree in which the bullet holes from the vehicle might have been fired from. That reconstruction was photographed. I assisted with dismantling the front passenger door, and during that process, a projectile was located within the door frame. Officers utilized a crowbar, hammer, claw, and metal saw in order to facilitate locating the projectile within the metal door. Additionally, while looking inside the vehicle's driver's side door, I observed several areas in which there were blood stains that appeared to be falling in a downward motion as if the subject was straight and the blood was dropping straight down. On the driver's side seat itself, there appeared to be a swipe pattern blood stain. The swipe pattern blood stain appeared consistent with transfer of blood from a blood-bearing surface, such as the victim's pants, onto another surface, such as the driver's seat. The stain indicates motion as if someone was exiting the vehicle. Again, welcome everybody. You just joined us. We just got started. While processing the vehicle, I was called to collect items from the incident scene on Sanctuary Boulevard. Other officers located a Busch beer can in the grass and tree line on the west side of the road, within close proximity of where the body was located. At the southern end of Sanctuary Boulevard and on the west side of the roadway in the tree line was a pair of white socks with red and blue stitching on them. There was an area where the socks were located where it appeared to be cleared off of debris, aka debris, and slightly flattened as if a larger item was resting, causing the ground to flatten. The pair of socks was marked number 12 and the beer can number 11 were photographed with and without evidence markers. I did not observe any shoe markings in the incident area which might have been able to be utilized or collected. I collected 3 touch DNA swabs from the beer can. One control, 1 swab from the lip of the can, and 1 from the shaft of the can. All right, and then I'm going to mark here this right there as well. So that's going to complete report 1. Now, that's interesting. 2 and 3 got out of order. Now, report number 2. And this is from Julie. And again, she puts the items here. So there's a witness here, another witness here. And this is number 2. And this is what she did. Back out of that. Again, she was dispatched, same thing. Upon arrival, I observed a white truck parked on the grass on the west side of Sanctuary Boulevard, facing south. I checked the registration and made contact with the owner. I have no idea how to say that name, but that's really, it's not a typo. That's his name. They thought this guy is acting suspicious. Okay. So I don't even know what to call him. We'll call him Shakira, Shakataraja. I don't know what to say, but we'll just call him GS for his initials. He stated he did not hear any gunshots and did not see any suspicious activity. He saw multiple vehicles near the south end of Sanctuary Boulevard and parked his truck and walked down to see if he could help. I asked GS why he thought he needed to help if he did not observe any suspicious activity. GS stated he was just trying to do the right thing. I gathered GS information, told him to remain on scene for follow-up questions. When GS took his Florida driver's license from his wallet, I observed he also had a concealed carry permit. GS became agitated and stated he did not understand why he had to stay. As I spoke with other witnesses, GS continued to insist he wanted to leave and he should not have to be made to stay. Anyways, again, he was just trying to help and be a good guy. She's then talking to this, I'm going to go on to this next witness here, Ryan, who stated he heard 2 to 3 shots, okay, at approximately, it would be 8 o'clock. Ryan's son, Carter, heard 4 to 6 shots. They were in the same, from his bedroom, and called downstairs to his dad, so they're at a house over there. They came out of their house. They didn't know if it was fireworks. They didn't know if it was gunshots. Ryan's wife looked outside and observed a white male, approximately 6'2", average build, wearing a short sleeve black t-shirt and black hat, walking east on Jacksonville Drive towards South Beach Parkway. Okay, now we're going to highlight this because they looked out their window. Here he is, 6'2". She says average build. Aaron thought he looked suspicious because he was walking alone at a brisk pace and kept looking over towards the Sanctuary Boulevard. I gave the description to dispatch and to be on the lookout to the other officers. Okay. Now, I spoke to KH, who stated she lived just west of the trees on Sanctuary. Hazen is a member of the neighborhood watch and received a text from her neighbor in reference to hearing gunshots. Hazen observed the police lights and walked from her residence to inquire for further information. While speaking to Hazen Thomas, Brian approached me and stated he heard 4 gunshots at 19:52 hours. Brian was not in the immediate area to observe any suspicious person or vehicle. I spoke to Kimberly. So again, this is what these people are doing. And this is this officer. I spoke to Kimberly and her son. Kimberly stated that her and her son live on Ashley Oaks and observed the police lights and stopped to inquire further information. So Kimberly stated she thought it was a car wreck. The white male stated, hopefully nobody got shot and drove away. Very interesting. After collecting the above witness verbal statements and information, I relocated to the intersection of Sanctuary Parkway and Sanctuary Boulevard to set a perimeter. Okay, and then I completed a tow log, and placed a hold on the victim's vehicle, and this conducted my involvement in the investigation. Now, one, two, three. It's very interesting. So you have another officer here. This is number 3. And so again, these were three of the officers that responded right away. While on the perimeter, I made contact with a witness, Timothy, who stated around 8 o'clock he was in the residence and heard what he sounded like 4 or 5 gunshots. He advised they were in quick succession, but that he heard a brief pause before the last shot. He said he initially didn't think anything of it, then saw the blue lights and wanted to give police the information in case it helped. Again, just showing you guys, this was like a chaotic scene, okay? Now, let me put this. This is really weird how this got copied like this. I'm going to move this one. These fuckers. All right. Now we're on to report number 4. And because I'm only going to be talking about, so this is report 4. I'm going to zoom in. And the stuff that's relevant, I've already read through all of this. So what this officer was in charge of is upon arrival, I observed a black, they all have to write their report and say what they saw. All officers should be doing this. And in this case, they all did, and they wrote a report. So they all have supplements. So this is like awesome because you're like seeing it from everybody's angle. So upon this would be Corey. Raymond Harold Corey, Officer Corey. So that's his last name. Once detectives arrived, I was asked to canvass America Avenue. That's the name of a street right here. All right, this is what Corey needed to do. So that's what Corey did. And as you can see, these are all America Ave. And it was stuff to see if people had like cameras. So think about, you're talking about the Idaho 4 case. So let's take a look at what this person was supposed to be doing. And then stated he was upstairs, they're going through. And what I noted is, I'm going to do here. This person said right here that there was a white panel van. So I'm going to highlight that. And So 2 people mentioned this van, 4033 and 4045. Okay. So this is what was interesting, is that the driver was standing in the bushes on the west side of America Ave. He said when he spoke to the driver, he seemed to become very nervous. Sullivan asked him what he was doing, and the man told him his dad used to live in the sanctuary, and he saw the police lights and was curious what was going on. Very fucking weird, very interesting. Like, what the fuck? Like, my dad used to live here. Want to see what's going on? I'm gonna go look through the bushes. But again, they asked everybody what they saw. Did you see anybody that's looking like they're acting suspicious? Okay. He described the man as a white male, approximately 6'2", 250 pounds. He said the man was chubby and had a black, scraggly beard. Remember that 6'2" before? Okay. So I highlighted that. All right. Now, these people are telling everybody they're going to check their cameras. All right. So, this guy, he told me he was pulling into his driveway when he heard the gunshots. Since he has a camera, they're going to try to get like the pin down of the time of this. Again, this guy, security camera at his house, he checked the video after neighbors told him about the shooting, but it did not capture anything at the time of the shooting. He said he heard 4 gunshots, but did not see or hear anything else. Moving on. Next report. This is report number 5. Now, Underwood, here we go. Underwood 10, this is a shell casing. So there's an Underwood one, and then that's marker number 1. Marker number 2 is this PPU, okay? Right here. So those are the 2 different models of the. So again, this is all stuff that they took in this collection, and then we'll get to the report here. So I received a phone call from Sergeant Smith requesting my assistance at a scene. I responded, and this would be at 9:16. Okay. And then I assisted with Officer Jarman with the scene and collected the physical evidence and placed all of it into property. I sealed the vehicle with evidence tape and followed the vehicle back to the property room and placed it into the garage and locked the garage. So, and this is the evidence that this person worked with. All right. And this would be Officer James David, again, his report. And it's going in sequence with the time. He didn't feel the need to put his time there. I thought that's interesting. Now, this is incident 6, supplemental report. Same guy. I processed the rim and tire on this case. This is going to be a big part of the case. This is the rim and tire that was in the middle of the road. The rim is a Ford rim. This becomes very important. Swabs were taken from 4 locations and marked on the rim where they were taken from. The rim was then processed for latent prints using black powder with negative results. So we have negative results there, placed into property. Now, moving on, this will then be report 7. And this is from Stephen Russell Courier. And he is part of the Jacksonville Police Department. So Corey Courier. There hasn't been a report yet by Johns or Lamont. Those are your 2 detectives, lead detectives in the case. So right now we have no detectives yet. This is all just gathering of the evidence with the technician, as well as doing canvassing, as well as setting up the perimeter. All right. So on Wednesday, February 16th, 8:22 hours, I was contacted by Sergeant Young in reference to this case. Then I responded to the area. Sergeant Young told me Detective Johns was going to be the lead detective on the case. This is the first time that we hear this. So Young told Detective Johns was going to be the lead. So I assisted Detective Johns. I walked down Sanctuary Boulevard towards the vehicle. There was a black, again. The male victim was laying on his back with a sheet over him. I observed 4 spent shell casings on the roadway near the victim's body. Also, there was a Ford rim with attached tire laying in front of the victim's vehicle on the roadway. Now, here we go. Here's our first mention of Miss Christina Stifler. Stifler's mom has got it going on. So I contacted Duval County State Attorney's Office, on-call homicide state attorney. I spoke to ASA Christina Stifler. She is all over the documents that have just been filed in this case. So I'm trying to connect all of your dots. Hopefully this is connecting the dots. If you were following what we had yesterday, the hearing. So again, we're going through so everybody can know how this investigation went and can follow along for the case. Let's see. Like this. All right. I'm going to zoom in here. Lana, it's Stacy's mom has got to go on. Yeah, and from American Pie, it's Stifler's mom. Stifler's mom. American Pie, taking us way back. All right. ASA Stifler said she would come to the scene. Okay. So boom, this is how involved. So she goes and she's there. When she arrived on scene, Sergeant Young, Detective Johns, and I escorted her to the scene. Detective Johns and ASA Stifler left the scene so they could speak to the victim's wife, who was at the police station with Detective Santiago. I contacted the Duval County Medical Examiner's Office, and I spoke to Investigator Jeremy Stum. The Medical Examiner's Office case number is 22-441. North Florida transported the victim to the Duval County Medical Examiner's Office so they could perform an autopsy. Now, on Thursday, February 17th, ATF Special Agent Mark Mutz arrived at the police department to offer any assistance with this investigation. Special Agent Mutz advised that ATF could test the 4 spent shell casings for DNA, then submit those casings to NIBIN. I proceeded to check out all 4 shell casings. ATF ROI report number. Okay. So evidence was checked out and turned over. See how amazing it is when you document stuff? Like I said, item 1, 2, 3, and 4, these are your shell casings. One is Underwood brand and the other is PPU. So it's still on the books for me. Like, was this 2 shooters? There was only 4 shots. And obviously the magazine has more than 4 places for your bullets, right? So it's interesting that you would have 2 different ammunition in the middle of, I mean, I guess it could happen, right? But want to point that out. Hey there, Mod Squad. I love you. Okay, continuing on. Again, next. Now we're on to supplement report number 8. Okay. And this is Christopher Lee Johns. All the homeless Jack's Beach. Talks about homeless. Another person, I just went to cell phones. Cell phone case with ID, credit card, CD of interview with one of the other DVD of video from America Ave. And then that's the homeless. Okay, so here we go. Wednesday, February 16th. At approximately 8:32 hours, I arrived at Jacksonville Drive and Sanctuary. So this is your detective. So again, this happened so just for show you guys something, 7:59, and then the detective was there by 8:32. Look at the Idaho case, okay? $30 months, baby, lots of babies. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so again, he met with the officers on scene and confirmed there was a male subject who had been shot an unknown number of times. The male was pronounced deceased by fire and rescue at 8:10. The male was later identified as Jared Bridegan. After conducting an initial walkthrough of the scene, I returned to police headquarters to interview. All right, so this is who the first interview happened with Johns. Also present was ASA Stifler. VB stated he was leaving his friend's house near Sea Breeze Elementary and returning home. He stated he traveled Sea Breeze to America Ave to Sanctuary Boulevard. He stated he and a car that was in front of him both turned onto Sanctuary Boulevard. Traffic then came to a stop, and VB stated he saw a black SUV stop in the middle of the road and a tire in front of the SUV. He initially thought the victim was changing his tire, so he approached to help. VB noticed the driver door was open and the victim was on the ground, twitching and moving. Trigger warning. Okay, this is going to get into interviews now, so trigger. He stated he turned around and told the ladies to call 911. He stated he thought it was an accident until he saw the passenger window was shattered. He saw the little girl, so he grabbed her and took her back to his car. He stated there was a male bystander, white guy with a hat, who stated he heard from a lady there was gunshots. He stated he was trying to ask the little girl what happened, but she was only worried about her dad. So sad. I also met with Kirsten Bridegan, the victim's wife. She said the following: for right now, for this report, that has been redacted due to security system. And then on Thursday, February 17th, at 9:15, I met with medical examiner's office. During the course of their exam, it was discovered the victim was shot twice in the left shoulder. One projectile remained in the lower portion of the neck and was collected. The second projectile appeared to exit the body in the right shoulder area. And this is very interesting. The victim's clothing and other items of evidence will be collected at a later date. Now here we hear Lamont, Detective Lamont. Again, first time that name is mentioned. And here it is. Detective Johns and Lamont are your two lead detectives. Category A witnesses who have seen emails and other correspondence between Mario Fernandez and his attorneys, which is attorney-client privilege. That's part of the argument, as well as you're going to see why stuff was seen here really, really shortly. Okay, again, I'm just going through. This is the order and how they conducted their investigation. Okay. Again, Justin is Jared's brother. This, just like the wife, that interview for security system purposes was is not in here. Now, preservation letters were sent to T-Mobile via T-Mobile. So this is how they did for Mario Fernandez, that number, and Shanna Gardner. You understand that this happened on February 17th, 2022. And this was preservation letters were sent to T-Mobile. Now, I want to show you. Subpoena request. Wendy's in efforts to obtain security footage and receipts. A subpoena request for Chase was also submitted for the victim's banking records. So this is what was turned over. Discovery attachments. So this is back in reports that I got from the beginning. Okay. And as you can see, this is the attachments incorporated into the state's demand. So that is Wendy's. Chase, like they said. Now, right above that, I believe that was like redacted out because like see how there's like a check here. And the only thing that happened before Wendy's, okay, right here was the preservation letters sent to T-Mobile. I received confirmation they were received. Subpoena request to the SAO for Wendy's in efforts to obtain security footage request. So this is, again, this is Thursday, February 17th. And they're putting down the 18th and the 18th. Maybe that's when they received them. It says served to, so they may have got the warrants here and then served them on the 18th. Again, just cross-checking and referencing all the stuff. Now, Friday, February 18th. So immediately, the first things that they go and do, the Wendy's and Chase for the bank, and immediately on it with, now look at who they talked to. They talked to Justin, and they talked to his ex, or his wife. All right, and then that's what led him to then go and preserve the T-Mobile. So Jared Bridegan's wife, Kirsten, whatever was talked about, and then also with his brother. Now at 10:30 hours, myself and Detective Lamont met with Lori Armstrong from the Child Protective Services team. An interview was conducted with the minor child. She is 2 years old. 2. The interview was audio and video recorded. This is Brooksy, was in the car. She stated she did not hear anyone arguing with her father, but did see someone who appeared to have a green hat, pink or red skin, in Halloween-like clothing approach the car and then ran south away from the front of the car. She stated Daddy was sick and was laying on the ground. There were no other statements made during the interview that were pertinent. So sad. Later in the day, contact was made with Harriet, who was seen in the area earlier in the day on security video footage. Harriet stated he did not see or hear anything out of the ordinary. He said he was not in the area during the time of the incident. It should be noted Harriet is a local long-term transient homeless man that is known to camp near the incident location. He also suffers from medical illness and is often not lucid. I also spoke to Britt Taylor via telephone, who stated he knows the victim's family, but that he didn't have anything to say that was not hearsay. And then a subpoena was served via email to Wendy's, and a subpoena was mailed to JP Morgan Chase Saturday, February 19th, search warrant video from America Ave. Okay. So we're going on to report number 9. And this was from James David Choate. I assisted Officer Jarman with the evidence recovery of the items from the victim's vehicle. 2 projectiles were recovered. The first one was located on the passenger's side front seat floor, which was marker 10. The second projectile was located in the passenger side front door, inside the door, which was marker number 13. Both items will be placed into property. Jared Langlos, and this is report 10. This is what he had to also say. All right. At approximately 8 o'clock, officers were dispatched to State Road A1A exit ramp and J. Turner Butler Boulevard, JTB, in reference to a report of 3 to 4 gunshots. After a brief time, they were redirected by dispatch to Sanctuary Boulevard and Jacksonville Drive after reports of an unconscious male laying next to a black sports utility vehicle with a child inside the vehicle. So what this tells me is that the first person that called in, okay, they just called in that they heard gunshots, because they just went to an area versus the location, unless when they called in, they didn't know what to say. But curious if there's more than one call. After a brief time, again, they were directed right here. Sergeant Smith began advising other respondent units to secure the scene and hold potential witnesses in the area. At approximately 8:22 hours, I responded to the scene to assist. Prior to my arrival, Officer Corey contacted me via radio and requested I park my patrol vehicle at Sanction Boulevard and Sanctuary Parkway, which is a T intersection near JTB westbound. I began walking up the northbound side of Sanctuary Boulevard with Officer Corey, at which time he advised there was a deceased male on the scene. As I was walking north, I could see what appeared to be vehicle headlights facing south on the southbound side of Sanctuary Boulevard, and what appeared to be a large object covered by a white sheet on the ground near the driver's side door. The area was very dark due to not being well lit and brush separating the north and southbound lanes. So again, she's describing what she's seeing. The driver's side door was ajar, and I had originally observed, at a closer observation, I could clearly see the object underneath the white sheet was the descendant. The body was laying near the curb of the east side of the roadway. A large pool of blood was observed in the right of the descendant's head and had begun coagulating. Blood was visible soaking through the sheet, and I could clearly see the descendant's left hand and wrist sticking out from under the sheet, resting on the left side east curb of the roadway. Again, you guys can scroll back and read that. I do want to mention the casings appeared to be brass casings. Okay. Sergeant Smith pointed out what appeared to be blood spots on the left side of the driver's seat and interior frame of the driver's side door. Looking into the vehicle, a small hole was observed in the center dash with an entry point below and to the right of the steering wheel. The front passenger side window was shattered, but still intact. A small hole was observed where the frame and glass meet, with the majority of the impact appearing to be in the metal frame. There were what appeared to be lines in the glass extending around the circumference of the center point of the contact, like a spider, you know. Okay, the evidence technician report. Oh, that was what I wrote up there, sorry. And let me go back down here and I will zoom out a little bit to put all of it in. Okay. Once back on scene, I walked with Officer Jarman as he gathered overall mid-range and close-up photographs due to the dark area where the scene was located. I at times provided assistance with lighting by using my flashlight. Once photographs were taken, I assisted Officer Jarman in setting up the OSCR 360 to further document the scene using a 360-degree camera. So that's what they did. Okay. I collected the latent prints from the rear and left driver's side door, rear left driver's side quarter panel, and rear right passenger side window. The prints have been entered and placed into property as evidence. So that's, again, I assisted with a shooting reconstruction using rods and string in 2 separate locations inside the vehicle. Additionally, I assisted with removing parts of the front passenger side door in an effort to locate a projectile, which was eventually found inside the door. This concludes my involvement in this case. That means this is the last report from this person. Okay. Now, report number 11. Burrell. On Wednesday, February 18th or 16th, I received a phone call from Detective Sergeant Young who needed my assistance. All right, here. At 10:22 hours, Detective Lamont, again, this is the lead detective, said he needed help obtaining written statements from a father and son who lived at this address. At this time, after receiving the written statements, I returned to the scene. At this time, I went with resident Cruz. He said he was not home at the time of the incident. He said his wife, who was home, heard the shots. I didn't see anything. Cruz had to check the door next. He said he heard 3 to 5 shots that were quick in succession. He said he could reach back. I want to go back to the. Okay. So Christina said that she was home at the time of the incident. She said she heard cars going down Jacksonville Drive and heard 4 pops. No cameras. Now, I met back with Lamont, and then we were going to go soon to, this is where Gardner lives. Or I'm sorry, this is where Jared was living, and that was Marsh Inlet Court. So that happened just after midnight. After the notification, we left the residence at approximately 1 and returned to the headquarters. Shortly after returning to police headquarters, I called Gardner's cell phone and confirmed her ex-husband, Jared, picked up their children at 18:29 hours and then returned their children at approximately 19:45 hours. So they go to meet with the victim's ex-wife, and then they went to, and I drove to the residence and met with, later identified, they met with Shanna and Mario. And then they called her back and asked and made sure that Jared picked up the children at this time and dropped them off at that time. Because on Wednesday nights, it was their date night. So on Thursday, February 17th at approximately 9:30 hours, while attending a meeting with Detective Sergeant Young, Special Investigation Unit, were assigned to the neighborhood canvas. And so they did the travel route of Jared and how he would always go. So they started from his home, 1511 Marsh Inlet Circle, and then they went south. So this is the way that he would travel to go to Gardner's house. So this is what they did their canvas on. And then what I'm going to do here is, because these are all the people that they got in touch with, which is all this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point out just a couple of them that were of, so let's see. So, okay. So when they were at, see, they're messing some stuff up here. When they met with Shanna, she stated that Jared sent a text message to her the previous night at 6:29, reading here. That's what they would do. They wouldn't go up to the door. They would text message each other to say here, to notify her that he was at her house to pick up their two children. They have two twins. Gardner said, and this was every Wednesday night, whoever didn't have the kids for the week, if it was their, if it wasn't their week, they had the option to use the Wednesday to have date night for like an hour and a half. Gardner said he returned to her house to drop off their children approximately at 7:45. Gardner said that she asked her daughter, who said the time was actually 7:48. Gardner said that the children came into the house from the garage, which is located west of the front door. She said, and this is redacted for security purposes, did not pick up the motion. Gardner showed me her camera's recordings, which did not include any recordings during or near that time. I then began conducting a neighborhood canvass with Detective Connor at the following locations. So this residence didn't have any information. No one appeared to be home. I met with Adam. They didn't have any security system. So this is around Shanna Gardner's house. So let's go to these are no information. Okay, so this person says that on Seaside Drive that she noticed, however, no video, however, he said he noticed 2-3 times the vehicle traffic, that there was 2 to 3 times more of the vehicle traffic, which he said was unusual on the night of the 16th between those times. But he didn't have any information as far as cameras. Then now, here we go. On Saturday, February 19th, during this neighborhood canvass, I believe they had a camera, however, received no answer to the door. I went next door to that address and met with a resident. He had any contact information for the neighbor at that address. So they exchanged, numbers. Then now, Detective Connor and I went to this address, a previous received lead. Now, we've been reading this whole thing, okay? And I have yet to see this previously received lead. So there you go. Upon arrival, we met with this person who said, and they have that redacted, had a current date and timestamp showed at 1950 hours and 16 seconds, a white truck come into view and pass southbound. Just so you guys know, Mario Fernandez has a white Tundra Toyota 2002 truck. So at this time, they saw, okay. And then at this time, a dark colored truck comes into the view and passes. And then at this time, so these are all within seconds, a dark colored SUV type car, possibly appearing to be the victim's vehicle, comes into view and pass in the same direction as the other vehicles. I did not see any other vehicles come into view passing in the same direction. Because the dark colored SUV appeared possibly to be that of the victims, I called Detective John was able to get a copy of the video, which will be placed in the property section. Okay, so now, so here we go. Now on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, I was dispatched to this address, reference a possible video relating to the incident. After reviewing the video, Officer Jarman called Detective Wallace by phone. They all met. She showed Detective and I a video which showed a truck westbound on Jacksonville Drive. Near the entrance of Sanctuary Way at the time of the incident. The truck turns onto Sanctuary Way South. Truck comes into the view, passes, see south. So then here, the truck turns on south and continues down the street. She said that the truck may belong to a neighbor, possibly the resident at this address. So, and then they emailed the link. Okay. Now, they then go to that address. The truck was not in the driveway, and we were not able to make contact with the driver. Now, I had met with the resident, and he showed me that the video on the night of the incident, the video showed the neighbor's truck parked in the driveway for several hours prior and during the incident. So then they could go ahead and that's not the truck. So they were able to rule this out from the video. Okay. Now, they returned to try to make this a second attempts for now these contacts. All right. And let's see who does this. Let's see. Okay. Now this woman, she advised she could be reached at this number. After getting the phone, I called the phone number and spoke to a female who identified herself as Lisa Barrett. And she said that she had been walking her dogs at approximately 17:30 hours. So that's 5:30 in the area of Jacksonville Drive in America Ave when a red pickup truck driven by a white male with a red beard, almost hit her. The driver was vulgar towards her and drove by her a few additional times. She said she believed the truck's license plate ended in Jax or Jax 4. Gotta love those crazy ones. All right. Now, let's see. The next one was just showing you how they got to mark some of this stuff. Here we go. She said her security system and said she did not have any information on the incident. She said her son-in-law, and that's protected, on the earlier date and spoke to someone about seeing two people. She said she would give him my phone number and have him call me. Now, okay. Okay. Now they talked to this guy. He said he is a painter and he had been returning from a job site. He said he was going home and said his route was JTB eastbound, north on 3rd Street, west on Jacksonville Drive, and north on America Ave. He said while he was driving north on American Ave, describing somewhere near Republic Drive between 1845 hours and 1900 hours, a light-skinned, thin-built black male appearing to be 25 to 30 years old, wearing a white t-shirt and khaki pants with a single strap backpack that crosses the upper body, riding a speed bike. Devlin said the black male was looking from side to side and appeared suspicious. Devlin asked if he lived was familiar with the neighborhood and he had not seen the person before. He then said he saw another skinny, approximately 160 to 170 pound, between 25 and 30-year-old white male with long brown hair. Who Devlin described as a scruffy Jesus. You guys seeing this? Scruffy Jesus. Possibly even a homeless person walking southbound America Ave near Declaration Drive. He thought seeing those two people were odd or out of place in the neighborhood, especially given what happened that night. Devlin did not have any further information. Okay. Continuing on here, they're continuing on to do neighborhood canvases, okay? And again, going through. Okay. This person. Mason suspects Mario, current husband, was involved in a previous incident. Okay. This person didn't see or hear anything. At 9, a white van, dark tint windows, parked and started looking towards the scene. Driver described as a stocky white male with long beard. Stated he was trying to visit his dad in the sanctuary when asked by a neighbor if he lived in the area. Mason said he left in a hurry. That matches another report. So this guy was outside and heard 4 gunshots at 19:52 hours. Are getting closer to the time. Remember, 1948 was the drop off by Jared at there you go. Video was copied. So now this person heard 4 gunshots, was standing outside a garage at the time the shots were fired, did not hear any yelling or arguments, no traffic crash. This person was on their patio when they heard the 3 or 4 gunshots. Now this person says she believes she heard someone yell. Again, this person heard 4 gunshots that time. Wife will look through her video, require follow-up. Was not home, did not see anything. No answer, no answer, no answer, did not see anything. Did not see or hear anything. Cameras picked up no movement during the incident time frame. They did not see or hear anything. Now this person, I spoke with Terry, America Ave. We'll be meeting with him at 2/18/2022 at 1500 hours to review video. And no answer. The following neighborhood canvases was conducted on this time. Again, they're going through all these people, trying to get all of their. Now, we're looking at this, and I'm just like, dude, if you guys think Moscow did any of this, they did not. Okay? This is how you do it. Sorry, I'm not even looking at chat right now because I'm just trying to speed read so I can get to the parts that matter. Davis knew the Gabriel guy. He's the known homeless man. Okay. This person requires a follow-up. This person turned in USB footage. Again, all these people. Let me get over here to Matt Heck, who called to eliminate his vehicle. Let me zoom in. We are all rock stars, baby. You know it. Take a sip every time I say vehicle. He went to eliminate his vehicle as he drove on Sanctuary Parkway at approximately 1949 hours. Heck's vehicle is a 2015 black Ford F-150. Now, this is going to be interesting. He wants to eliminate his vehicle. Heck stated he did not see a vehicle with emergency lights activated. So he goes by, he's saying before anything happens. All right, this guy, he wants to eliminate. So he drove on Sanctuary Parkway at approximately 1949 hours. Heck's vehicle is a 2015 black Ford F-150. And he stated he did not see a vehicle with emergency lights activated on Sanctuary Boulevard. I asked Heck if he noticed anything else in the area. Heck stated he remembered seeing a small 4-door sedan parked in the painted lines before Sanctuary Boulevard. Heck was not sure if it was Wednesday night because he parked painted lines before Sanctuary. Heck's not sure if it was Wednesday. He was positive that it was at night. Heck also said he was told the victim was in an argument at the baseball fields behind the police station. What? How does he know who the victim is? I guess it was only 2:18, so he's saying that. I'm going to highlight that. Heck stated Thomas Bryan's wife may have more information. Interesting. Okay. Now this is the incident at the baseball field from Lauren. I made contact with Lauren, who stated she heard about the incident at the baseball field from Natalie. Stout said Brewster heard about the incident from Pam. Jesus, are you guys kidding me? Stout said Titlow heard about the baseball field incident from Matt, who was a witness to it. I then contacted Matt, who responded to the station volunteering for a recorded interview. Matt stated he did not witness any argument/incident at the baseball field. The fuck? Matt stated he did not know the victim. Matt stated he did know Pam. but had not spoken with her about anything recently. What in the fuck, y'all? What is wrong with people? Like, excuse me? I contacted Pam. She said she was not at Wingate Park that night and only heard about the shooting from the news. What? Sus. All this is sus. Pam said she had no idea how her name was brought up in any of this. Okay, everybody take a drink. Everybody take a sip. I mean, let's read this again one more time. Heck stated Thomas Bryan's wife may have more information. So who started this all was Matt Heck, saying that there was an argument at the baseball field behind the police station Wednesday afternoon/evening, but he had no other details. Heck also stated he was told the victim was in. Okay. Okay, now, I made contact with Melissa, who stated she heard about the incident at the baseball field from Lauren. So we got Lauren, we got Melissa. Then I made contact with Lauren, who stated she heard about the incident from Natalie. Stout said Brewster heard about the incident from Pam. Stout said Titlow heard about the baseball field incident from Matt, who was a witness to it. I then contacted me, who reported to the situation voluntarily. Matt said he did not witness any argument at the baseball field. Matt said he did not know the victim. Matt said he did know Pam, but he had not spoken with her about anything recently. After the interview, I contacted Pam. She said she was not at Wingate Park that night and only heard about the shooting from the news. What, B? Why didn't you call Pam? Did you call? Stout said Titlow heard about the baseball field from incident from Matt. Okay, so but you never, so the cops never bothered to call Pam. That's why that happened. Okay, just making sure. If you guys just would have called Pam when this person said, I made contact with Lauren, who stated she heard about the incident from the baseball field from Natalie. Okay, call Natalie. Why are you still talking to Lauren with hearsay? I mean, you just, that's on the cops. That's cops. Okay. Again, who said he was coming home to the incident? No information provided. Then information. Residence is an Airbnb and did not arrive at the residence approximately 8. Okay, Airbnb, and then come back to Terry, who's referred to, I believe, as T.O. as the lead. Let me take a look. Let me see something with this witness. Let's see. Category C witness. Civilians who provided video footage. Category B witnesses. Wire monitors. People were wired the fuck up. Holy shit. Wait for it. This is going to be wild. Hopefully you guys are, here for it. Okay. So Tio was not home. His wife answered the door. On the video, I saw a white truck, unknown make model, pass the camera at 1950 hours. And 17 seconds. I then saw a dark colored truck pass the cameras at 19. 22nd. I then see a black SUV matching the description past the camera. Right there. All three vehicles were traveling south on America Ave towards Jacksonville Drive. The video had an accurate date and time stamp. The video was retrieved by Detective Johns. That's the video surveillance that they got this truck from. Now, I spoke with Matthew Heck again. He said he checked his exterior cameras to get a better time frame. Heck said he left his house at 1958. He was positive it was Wednesday night due to the camera. Heck said he did not leave his home at night any other night that week. Heck said that had to have been the night he saw a small 4-door sedan parked on Sanctuary Parkway, parked in the painted lines. Heck said that the vehicle was parked just east of Palm Way on Sanctuary Parkway. Heck said he did not see anything else suspicious in the area, no one walking or running. Okay. And so now it is positive due to the cameras, and it is a small 4-door sedan. Okay. Now, going on to report 13, which is, again, these are consent forms, consent, incident, witness statements, all of this written up, put in. And Wednesday, February 16th at approximately 8 o'clock, I was contacted by Detective Sergeant Young in reference to the homicide investigation. And this is the report from Lamont starts his report. So this is one of your detectives. So Detective Lamont, he gets contacted right away. All right, grab your drink, and every time I say vehicle. All right, upon my arrival, let's see. Okay, he advised me he was driving southbound on Sanctuary. We already went through that. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is how we did it. Now pay attention. He opened the rear passenger door and removed the child from her car seat. So Maduro returned to the victim's vehicle and checked the wood line for another vehicle. Initially, he thought this may have been a car accident. At this time, he noticed the child was sitting in the rear passenger seat. So he opened up the rear passenger door and removed the child from her car seat. He then returned to his vehicle with the child and calmed her down. So she was upset. Oh, baby. At this time, Jacksonville Beach police officers arrived and secured the scene. At this time, I approached the couple, and at this time, okay. All right, these were the two, son and dad. They heard 3 to 5 gunshots approximately. His father immediately asked if they were the gunshots. And then Ryan said he has home surveillance system and allowed access to it. While viewing the surveillance system, let me scroll down here. While reviewing the surveillance system, various vehicle traffic and foot traffic can be seen passing the home. The camera is facing blank, no suspect information obtained from viewing the video. I was able to view the video, but unable to retrieve a copy of the video at the time. Okay, so here we go. At approximately, this would be 12:39 a.m., Detective Burrell and I arrived at, this is the address of C-1511 Marsh Inlet Court is Shanna Gardner's address. And upon my arrival, contact was made with Gardner and Mario. That's not even spelled right. Gardner was informed her ex-husband, Jared, was deceased. Gardner advised her divorce was not amicable and the two did not communicate much. Gardner stated the two would only communicate through text messages. The only communication Gardner had with the victim was at 8:29 hours. The victim advised he was here to pick up the children for their date night. Gardner advised the children went to Bearded Pig for dinner and Wendy's for ice cream. The children were returned by the victim at 19:45 hours. Gardner did not speak with the victim at this time. Gardner stated she did not know if the victim had any issues with anyone which would lead to his death. Gardner, Shanna Gardner, and Mario advised they would be available if needed for the investigation. Approximately 11:30 hours, I met with the victim's wife, Kirsten. While meeting with her, she signed a consent to search form for the victim's phone, watch, and his vehicle. So no search warrant was needed. She consented. The consent forms have been scanned in the report and placed into property as evidence. Kirsten Bridegan advised her husband does own a handgun. She was not aware of the make or model of the firearm. She attempted to locate the firearm but was unable to locate it at that time. Kirsten was asked if her husband carries a wallet on his person. Kirsten advised her husband carries an identification card, a blue Chase card, and sometimes an insurance card. She advised she does not believe her husband has any additional credit cards. At approximately 14:51 hours, I returned to Ryan's residence to retrieve that surveillance video. Ryan was able to provide the video surveillance from 19:15 hours to 20:30 hours. The video has been placed into the property. Report 14. Now, again, all of these ET. Okay. So this is the evidence technician. That's what ET stands for, ET phone home. So again, the scene was in the southbound lane at the 400 block of Sanctuary Boulevard. There was no street lights in the area and almost no ambient light from America Ave and State Road 202, which is also known as JTB. There was a full moon that night that provided some light in the area. So, with both driver door and driver passenger door open. So, nobody mentioned that. It's interesting. He's the first person to mention that the passenger, so the emergency hazard lights were on with both driver door and driver passenger door open. Just so you know, the first person to mention that. No other police officer to point has mentioned that. Yeah, nobody has mentioned that the passenger door was open as well as the driver's side door. Again, interesting. There was a body covered with a white sheet and yellow plastic cover next to the east curb next to the vehicle. The body of the deceased was situated with his head facing north, his feet facing south, right arm to the west, and left arm to the east. I observed 4 shell casings between him and the vehicle. I observed a pool of blood next to the body between him and the vehicle. There was a tire that was damaged. In front of the vehicle. The tire did not appear to belong to the victim's vehicle. Sergeant Smith showed me the inside of the vehicle. I looked through the open driver door and observed what appeared to be 2 bullet holes inside. Okay, so 2 bullet holes are inside, And remember, there's going to be like then 2 bullet holes in his shoulder. The first one was in the plastic next to where the driver's right leg would be, beneath the entertainment system. Again, the first one was in the plastic next to where the driver's right leg would be. So, you know, the console in the middle. The second bullet hole was in the front passenger side door, right at the top of the plastic beneath the window. Passenger window was shattered but remained in place because it was like spidered. Sergeant Smith showed me is he after the first cop was there that took the child? The child wasn't taken out of the front door of the passenger seat. The child was taken out of the back door. Again, this would have been the cops. Every cop would have noticed this because the girl was not in. None of the cops noticed this. None of the cops in their reports said that the other door was open. And he's in an SUV and she's in the back passenger side. So it'd be the second row. So that door that would have been open was not the passenger side of the driver. It's going to be in the back. Sergeant Smith showed me a damaged tire again, not blaming the victim. We're present at the scene evidence technician. I instructed Officer to go to the station and get the laser mapping system and the that's his report. Did that? We've already read his report. That's what he did. After the detectives walked the scene, all the vehicle on the perimeter to leave as personal. I began taking pictures. Okay, I moved the northbound traffic lane, taking pictures of the scene. Okay, I came back to the northbound, so he's talking about how we did that. I started to back away from the scene toward where the first picture was taken. So he's doing it like this. Okay. I started to back away from the scene towards the first. Okay, I got that. Okay, then he retook all of his pictures from the mid-range and close-up. Interesting. Thorough. Good job. At this point, the detectives re-entered the scene with a female later identified as the assistant state attorney. Okay. I took pictures of the body and covered the descendant so she could see him. Okay, so after mid-range of pics. So the metadata of mid-range, we'll say when they showed ASA the body. Okay. After they left, I finished taking my pictures of the scene. Okay. What questions do you guys have? I can clarify. I'm looking over here now. What's up, y'all? Okay, so then he got back there with that, placed a short distance behind the vehicle in order to get the 360. So it has to be a certain, yep. I moved it to behind the driver. Yep. I've seen one of these done, so that's good. I moved it to the front of the vehicle and took another picture. Yep. Okay. The medical examiner arrived on scene, and I assisted him in. Okay, the ME felt his head, but was unable to find an entry wound. Was it a cop that took the daughter out of the car? No. It was the first responding witness that pulled up behind the vehicle, took the, his interview's back there. We already went through his interview that he took her out. So it was one of the cars that came behind it and saw it, and so he took her out from opening up the door, not of the front passenger's door. Okay, so right here. So they thought it was in the head. The body retrieval team arrived, and we rolled the body to his left side, where I took pictures of his back. Okay. We did not observe any entry wound on the back. So this is your property officer. Okay. All right. We're going to come back to this. This is just them doing yeah, they had this list. They had this as a crime scene for a while. It was roped off. And we're going to come back to that. I'm going to mark that to come back there at the end to look at that. Okay. Now, this was and would be report 15, and this is Santiago. Okay. So she took custody of the little Brooksy, the little 2-year-old, okay, who was with the bystanders. I transported her to the police station where her mother was en route to get her. So it was just him, Jared, and their little 2-year-old that was dropping off the other 2 kids. So here we go. She is very articulate and can easily, and she carried a conversation back and forth. She is listed on the witness list, just so you guys know that. She told me her mommy took her to Target on that day and bought her the shoes she was wearing. This is going to be so important in trial when people think that she, they recorded her. You're going to see. Later, her mother confirmed that occurred earlier that day as blank had reaccounted, with the exception it was at Walmart, not Target. Okay, during my time with, again, this is little Brooksy, she told me she had been to dinner that night with her brother, sister, and her daddy. She said she had mac and cheese, which is her favorite food, and her mommy stayed home. Brooksy made the following statements to me. Note, I did not question her about this incident. Daddy opened my car door and I heard a boom. It's too loud. I heard booms. That's interesting. Daddy opened my car door and I heard a boom, or his car door. At the station, I made contact with her mother. Daddy opened my car door. Yeah, I think he opened his door. At the station, I made contact. Okay. So first of all, she had been married to Jared for approximately 4.5 years and had been together for a total of 5. Just so you know, so they knew each other for 5 months before they got married. Jared and Gardner were dating for 2 months before they got married. Okay. Jared was married prior and has, so this is her in her interview. Jared was married prior and has 2 9-year-old twins, Abigail and Liam, with the ex-wife Shanna Gardner. Shanna, they meant to say Jared. Shanna and Jared have 50-50 custody split in which one parent has the kids from Monday after school until the next Monday morning at drop off to school. And then during the same week, like I was saying, whichever parent does not have the kids for that week, then picks them up on Wednesday evening. So this would be somebody to know this routine and goes for a date night, which lasts a little over an hour. Kirsten stated she used to go, but since having London, because they have another little baby, but since having London, the time frame coincided with, sleeping, and so she had not been going. But she used to go with them. On today's date, Jared took Brooksy and they left the house around 5:55. And at 8:42 hours, she sent Jared a text. So asking him how it was going, and he responded with things were going well. He had told her Abigail wanted to text with her. She and Abigail sent texts back and forth on Jared's phone. She asked Abigail where they went, and she replied with a pig emoji, which she said it was the bearded pig. She took screenshots of the text and emailed them to Detective Johns. Okay. Kirsten stated her brother called her at 19:39 hours. So while they were talking, Jared called and she merged him in the conversation. They all spoke for a few minutes, and then her brother hung up so she and Jared could talk. The conversation with her brother lasted a total of 8 minutes. And the conversation with Jared did not show up on her phone log due to her merging him in the current call. So it didn't show up on her call log. Obviously, they don't have her records yet. The phone call, so if it lasted 8 minutes, 19, so it's like, just so you guys can see, what's it be then, 7, right? 1947, so it started at 19:39 hours. Now remember, Now remember what Gardner said? The kids got dropped off at 19. She said around 19:45 hours, and then the daughter corrected her, and it's going to be 19:48 was like the exact time. So I'm interested in seeing that. But the phone call started, it would be then before he dropped them off. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Then the conversation with her brother, let's right here. The phone call with Jared was on the car speaker, and she was also talking with Brooksy. Jared had just dropped off Abigail and Liam and was on his way home. Brooksy told her she was eating ice cream, and Jared told her it was a Frosty from Wendy's. Let me back this up. Now, they hung up. They hung up, and when she attempted to contact him later, he did not respond. I'm surprised they don't go into more detail here. It comes in the next interview. She said 20:51 hours, she was worried because he was not home yet, and she began blowing his phone up. She advised the relationship with Jared's ex and her new husband, Mario, was not a good one. She said that Shanna Gardner was constantly filing things in court regarding the children and lied about Jared, portraying him to be a bad father. She said Shanna and Mario lie to the kids and try to make Jared look bad to them. Furthermore, she said Mario is very controlling and tries to control everything. She said the last time Shanna filed something against Jared was last year, but the case was dropped. She said there has been no violence or threats of violence from Shanna or Mario. Kirsten said Jared has not had any disagreements with anyone and everyone likes him. She said the only person who had ill will towards him is Shanna and Mario. When I asked her if Jared has life insurance, she advised he should have some through work at the request of State Attorney Stifler. I asked her if she would be willing to allow Brooksy interviewed by the Child Protective Team. Okay. Again, this is still report 16. So on February 17th, I began assisting Detective Johns and Detective Lamont with this case. Again, now I spoke with Nancy in reference to this case. Let me go to this. Gray parking SUV. I want to go to the part that mattered. Okay. Okay. Now, this person was, in reference to this case, this Nancy K stated while walking her dog at this time, which would have been 6, she observed a dark gray SUV parked near the intersection of Sanctuary Way North and Jensenville Drive. She stated she did not believe the SUV was related to nearby construction. The SUV was bearing New York license plates and occupied by 2 older 40-year-old white males. Kay explained the driver was scruffy with facial hair. Again. While looking through several motion-activated events on the previous night, we located a minute-long video clip at 19:52. After review, I discovered the following. A gunshot and muzzle flash occurred at 19:52 and 52 seconds near the driver's side of the victim vehicle. A subject moves in front of the victim's vehicle, southbound on Sanctuary Boulevard. The subject walks in front of the victim's vehicle, headlights which backlights him/her. The subject continues walking southbound until 19:53 hours, at which point she begins to run. The suspect continues running southbound on Sanctuary Boulevard, later out of view. Several minute-long motion clips beginning at 1800 hours and ending at 8:21 hours were taken from the camera system. So there you go. Waterman was able to access his while looking through several motion activated. Wow. So this would appear that someone's on foot. It depends how long the window is that you can see this, but while looking, it says a gunshot and muzzle flash occurred. Shortly after the flash and shot, a subject moves in front of the victim's vehicle southbound, and the suspect walks in front of the victim's vehicle, headlights which backlights him/her. The subject continues walking southbound until 19:53. So that just is an 8-second clip. Interesting. Okay. Whatever Ryan turned in, it was redacted because that ends that and goes here to report. Oh, wait, no, wait, here. Actually, it doesn't. I don't know why they did that, but. Okay. This person says they didn't see anything and to go contact this person. Nobody saw anything. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Okay, let's see what this person says. She had to pick up her daughter from volleyball. She took her route to Department of Social Media and observed several vehicles behind a black SUV. Okay. Okay. This person provided about 10 minutes prior to the shooting. Oh. All right. All right. Their next stop was to go and talk to the people at, well, they got a Ring camera footage. Then they went to, they called a child protective team that they would interview. I advised that I could return the call. At approximately 24 hours, I responded to the bearded pig and made contact with the general manager. He advised he was working during the time frame. Jared would have been there. And so he goes and he finds this footage. And he found one for Jared and his children. We were able to utilize the time and the amount paid, 1902 hours. So he paid at 1902 hours from his cell phone wallet. Then they located the footage. Jared was arriving in the parking lot at 1847. He and the children entered the restaurant at 1848. And then they go to the parking lot at 1922 hours. So I don't know what the bearded pig is, but they were only in there for 20 minutes. He leaves the parking lot at 1924 hours, heading south on 3rd Street. There is no available video of them eating. Okay. Then they do a life insurance policy check on Jared. Then on the report 18, on Friday, February 18th, Pat Morley came to the police department today because he saw the media information from the agency asking for any Ring camera footage, Nest. And so he came in. Morley gave me a thumb drive containing exterior footage from his house. After I viewed the camera footage, it appeared the victim's vehicle drove past Morley's house at 18:29:39 hours, heading south on Fairway Lane. The view from the camera at night wasn't good. It was very difficult. Okay, then this was report number 19. And again, this is Santiago. And advised that they would contact the Shane. This is the guy who touched the victim's vehicle, okay, to arrange getting elimination prints on him. So that's what happened. Again, then there was an email. I sent an email to Assistant State Attorney in reference to the requested subpoenas for Wendy's and Chase. You requested a copy of the blah, 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 blah. I called Mary, who had responded on a Facebook post. She was tagged that she was referencing Christina. I saw this, but she just meant, she advised me that she was telling her friend that she had seen the post, not the crime. So they handled that. I contacted then the St. Johns County Clerk of Courts Records Department. And this is probably going to be for the divorce stuff. Then they contacted the National Insurance Commission to attempt to locate the life insurance policy of the victim. I attempted to call that guy that was, cuckoo. Then at approximately, again, on February 18th, they contact, this is who represented Jared in the divorce proceeding. She requested documents to the victim's divorce. She told me the victim was a good dad who loved his kids. I asked if she had any recollection of the victim and his divorce, might be interested in the case. She would have to refresh her recollections. So then, again, contacted the clerk of courts for the family court division. Then they contacted and responded to Jiffy Lube. What footage they had on 3rd Street, the south side. It was poor quality. It only showed a very small portion of 3rd Street, which not show the vehicle came south. Which would not show if the vehicle came south on 3rd or turned. So I then went to Clean Getaway. And the best footage they had was the intersection of 16th Ave. Okay. Report 20. After I finished processing the tire, Sergeant requested the make, model, and all the numbers off the tire. Just get everything off the tire. So the tire is BF Goodrich Advantage Sport LT, size, everything. The rim, I took pictures of the tire and rim. I copied pictures, CVR, boom, boom, boom. And then Sergeant provided me a printout in reference to the tire. All right, then they went ahead and now she returned the property to the garage room, and then she started to look for possible tracking devices. I started checking the wheel and then the immediate undercarriage. The reason they were seeing if someone was tracking him, I believe, is because, how did they know where he was going to be? Were they following him? Like, that's what these people are thinking. So they're so they check that. Then they were using the tablet. I checked for the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi connections. I found nothing. I installed the tracker device detective app and found nothing. I walked into the property room to check the vehicle's keys out from the property. As I walked in, I could hear something beeping. Property officer handed me the keys. On the keys was an Apple tracker, and it was beeping. I returned to the vehicle and scanned again to ensure that the app was working correctly. I connected to the Apple tracker, and it was able to start beeping. So his keys were on an Apple tracker. I locked the garage up and returned to the station. I informed Sergeant Young and Detective Johns of my findings. Sergeant Young instructed me to give the keys to Detective Lamont. Report 21. Okay, so what this person did was I conducted a neighborhood canvass of America Ave and the adjacent streets. All information gathered from the canvass was placed onto an Excel Word document and saved. I'm waiting to hear back from these people. Okay, so this person provided 2 video clips. First video clip is 1949 hours to 1950 hours, and the second one was 1950 hours to 1951. The video clips were placed into the detective video enhanced file as evidence and placed into property. And this was off America Ave. Both security captured a light colored pickup truck, dark colored pickup truck, vehicle backing out of the driveway across the street at a sports utility vehicle traveling southbound on America Ave from the 2700 block. The cameras recorded the listed vehicle. Okay, the video clips were then placed into evidence. Okay, so we got some trucks. Report 22. Damn. So this is on February. So they have a bunch of people doing this. They're going out canvassing. They're getting all the surveillance footage. One of my tasks was to assist with video taping of the scene, so that's what she did. The victim's daughter was interviewed. Then this is the homeless guy. No. Okay. Remember this guy, Matt? So at approximately 1830 hours, the interview with Matt was conducted in the interview room and audio recorded. Matt was asked to describe an incident which may have occurred between the victim and an unknown party. It was explained this information was relayed through several different people. Matt advised he was at Wingate Park from 1730 hours to 1930 hours. Matt stated he did not see any altercation with the victim at the park at this time. Matt also explained he is not aware there was any altercation with the victim at this time. Oh my God. Now, right here, Matt advised when he got home, he immediately heard about the incident and checked his Ring doorbell camera. It didn't even activate when he came home. Matt would go on to explain he does not know the victim, okay? But he does know the victim's brother, Justin. Interesting. Because they at one point, they looked at Justin as like a suspect. Now, at approximately 1948 hours, Detective Sergeant Young and I met with, again, this was on, I'm guessing February, Friday the 18th. Now, this is where they get in depth with it. We're going to ask what time she spoke with her husband. Okay. She asked what time she spoke with her husband's ex-wife. On Thursday morning, Bridegan advised she sent a text message to Shanna Gardner she asked if she could be present when Gardner informed the twins of their father's death. Gardner agreed. Bridegan was asked if she had any further information on her husband's firearms. She advised that she had not seen her husband's gun still, but he told her he had one. Jared would find, or she would find her husband's firearm on February 19th at 1300 hours. While speaking with Bridegan, she showed her 9mm Ruger LC9s. Ammunition consists of federal. Okay. She was asked to further describe the route her husband would take after dropping off his children to the ex-wife, and she advised of a route. He used to take a different route, and then she told him of this current route, so he switched and started going like her route that she gave. Prior to leaving the residence, Jared began talking about the night of the incident. She said, a guy drove fast and Dad stopped the car. Brooksy also continued to talk about the G in the roadway. The G. The G in the roadway. Now, this is a more close, like, check this out. She provided an account timeline for her conversation with her husband the night of the incident. So her brother called, and the call lasted for 8 minutes. Jared called and was grouped into a three-way conversation. Jared joked with his brother-in-law. Brian's brother-in-law hung up, leaving her and Jared on the phone. 1950 hours, Bridegan ended the conversation with her husband because he was being quiet and unresponsive. She was on Bluetooth, though, so she was on speakerphone. Now, this will be report 24. Again, because they have to, like, these good Samaritans, making sure that they aren't the shooter and stuff. So they're asking people all these questions about anybody that was there to rule out everybody that was there. So, okay. Canine officer. And they were searching for a weapon. They didn't locate any. That was report 25. Report 26 is, again, they were conducting a follow-up of the case approximately. They were trying to get more footage. From Wednesday night, no motion detected on this one. Tony Blanco stated he was on his way to Tampa, Florida for work. He was returning. He could check his stuff when he got back. Then on 2/22/22, on 2022, look at that. I followed up the below listed addresses. Nothing. Nope. Nothing. Okay. Now, this is on Saturday, February 19th. This is a witness. Okay. There were 2 to 4 cars in front of her. Curry advised that she saw the front car, which was a black SUV, and the emergency lights were on. Curry advised she saw a whitish, grayish, silver SUV. Curry stated a slender white male with khaki shorts exited the vehicle and approached the driver's side of the victim's vehicle. Curry would go on to explain the man pauses and looks into the vehicle and stops. The man proceeds to the passenger side of the vehicle and stops again. Curry felt this man was acting strange. Curry would explain this man had a baseball cap on his head. Curry advised that she saw a white 4-door vehicle in front of her. Curry explained a white woman exits the passenger side of the vehicle and appears to be confused about what is going on. At this point, Curry reverses the vehicle and exits the area via South Beach Parkway. Curry would explain she knows of the victim and his friends, and she's friends with Gardner, ex-wife. She does not know the victim's older brother, but could not remember his name. Curry explained that she had heard stories about the victim's behavior from, they spelled that wrong. Curry explained her husband was involved in an altercation with the victim at the church's. Oh my God, that's right. Here we go. Curry advised her husband is the bishop at the church. Okay, so they're members. Jared is members at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, located in Neptune Beach. Curry advised her husband is the bishop at the church. Curry advised the victim was upset because Curry and her husband befriended Gardner. Curry's husband was forced to call the church legal services. Curry advised the victim has a hot head. Curry advised the victim did not want Gardner invited to the church. Curry would not explain the specifics of the argument. Curry advised Gardner described the victim as controlling and impatient. Curry described the divorce and custody as it's a contentious situation. Curry felt from what she has heard of the victim, she believed his death could have been caused by road rage. Curry would go on to describe Gardner's new husband, Mario. She felt he was nice, but she could not see them becoming best friends. Curry was not sure if Mario and the victim had any negative interactions. While speaking about the custody arrangements and date night, she remembered additional information. And she referenced those and said that Curry said the children told Gardner the victim asked his children where and her husband lived. This concludes the wow. Okay, so then this guy comes forward and informed he was in the lobby and he had information. He said he has video surveillance which captures the audio of the gunshots. While viewing the video, you can clearly hear several gunshots in the distance. Mendoza's house is located directly to the west of the incident. Oh, it's coming, guys. This is where the interviews start flowing in now. So again, we're moving on to report 28. And this is Kelly. She has one security camera which captured America Ave during the time of the incident. Her system 10 minutes ahead of the current time. The video footage was placed into the folder, so those are the time frames. Between the listed time period, 4 vehicles were observed passing her residence, traveling southbound on America Avenue, approaching the intersection of America Ave and Jacksonville Drive. It was difficult to make out the make, model, and color of the vehicles. They were able to pick up his phone on February 22nd, 2022. Forensic unit. The forensic unit provided a copy of the content, so they ran his phone. Now they're on report 29. On the video, you can hear 4 distant gunshots. They take that. Then this is 30 on Wednesday at approximately 28 hours. Contacted. Okay, then they're getting Google geofencing here. Report 31. On Friday, February 18th, 2022, ASA Christina Stifler, sorry. You guys, these are all the police reports. Like, you don't get this. Like, this stuff is never given out like this. This is wild. Tuesday, February 22nd. Okay. She got the Google geofence search warrant for the incident location. So the location, not like, so for that location, incident location. And then they got the AT&T subpoena and T-Mobile subpoena for Gardner cell phone and Mario Fernandez Saladana cell phone. ASA Christina Stifler signed those subpoenas. Then Special Agent Mutz sent those subpoenas to their respective cell phone companies. I scanned those subpoenas into this report. I'm going to ask somebody a question about this. A check of the plate search system, LPR, for the victim's vehicle, which showed the victim's vehicle on St. John's LPR system 2/16/2022. Hours heading westbound on Longleaf Pinelands on St. Parkway. Hours the victim's vehicle heading southbound. I scanned the St. John LPR system information to this report. So that's the day of the. That doesn't even. I don't even know what time. 9:18 a.m. I checked Mario's registered vehicles. His see this Toyota Tundra. And then she has a 2018 Tesla. The Toyota Tundra had hits on 2/13 and again on 2/18. The Tesla had hit on nothing on that after that date. According to Jacksonville Sheriff, they ran it through the Duval County. And you have to be on certain roads, I guess, to be able to hit on this. Judge Eric Robinson approved the Google geofence search warrant today. I submitted the Google geofence search warrant to Google. There's a Google preservation. I scanned the Google geofence search warrant into the report. Now this is report 32. Okay. This is the divorce attorney who was the attorney on record during the victim's divorce, called him off the message to see if I had gotten the information I needed. She further stated that she had requested the victim's file from storage if it had went to storage. I contacted her on today's date. She indicated that she wants to cooperate with the investigation as is attempting to retrieve the victim's file if she still has it in storage. She did find an electronic online file and was able to go over the final divorce decree, and there was nothing pertaining to life insurance by either parent in the divorce decree. She stated she would possibly need a signed release from the victim's current wife when and if she located the victim's complete file. I asked if she had a release from that she utilizes for such an occurrence. She advised that she would talk to her partners. So the wife went ahead and said, yep, not a problem, we'll release whatever. Then she also indicated that Brenda Drake, another family law attorney, is who they had most recently used. So then she gives, Jared's wife gives this name, Brenda Drake. And she signed a waiver with whatever. So then they called Brenda Drake after, she was advised. But she said that she has no information on it. She said the last thing that she had done for the victim was draft a letter to his ex-wife's attorney in November of 2021, in which he wanted a new therapist for the children. They received a response back in January of this year, and they were not going to agree to a new therapist, and the victim just advised her to drop it. She did say that the victim had concerns that the ex-wife was building a case to attempt to gain full custody of the children, as well as concerns of them, ex-wife and new husband, coaching the kids. She also advised, although the victim was paying child support, that stopped when his ex-wife moved from St. Johns County, where he had moved so that she could be closer to the kids, and wanted the kids to go to the Discovery School. He did not want the kids to go to the Discovery School due to St. Johns County being known for the better school system. The victim and his ex-wife came to an agreement where the children go to the Discovery School and his child support payments ceased. That's interesting to me. Should never tie monetary stuff into stuff like that. But, there you go. So she said, I won't make you pay me child support if the kids can go to the Discovery School. Then Tuesday, February 22nd at approximately 1400 hours. So here we go. This is her big interview. This is the wife's big interview. Jared's wife, current. Jared's marriage to Shanna ended due to him getting her personal training package with a personal trainer known as Matt, unknown last name, here in Florida, and then finding information that she was having an affair with the personal trainer. There was no physical abuse or police interaction that she is aware of in their marriage. Interactions with ex-wife's current husband, Mario, has been multiple times, unknown exact, but less than 20. Interaction once at a court hearing reference kids' schools. Also interactions at school events and doctor's appointments. Mario was going to doctor's appointments. After the divorce, Jared dated several people and ultimately became engaged to Emily, this other woman, who she believes he met in Utah. The relationship with Emily was not a healthy relationship, and he broke it off with her. She said it ended badly in that Emily's father chewed him out for breaking up with his daughter. She said they have not heard from Emily since she has been in a relationship with Jared. Kirsten met Jared in 2017 through a dating app called Mutual, which is for singles who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. Wow, I didn't know that there's an app for the church. Okay. Jared currently works remotely from home for Microsoft as the manager of UX design and previously worked for Clean Simple Eats, also remotely. Additionally, he worked for webdot.com from May of 2016 to March of 2020 at an office near Gate Parkway. Jared workday at home normally consists of like a 9 to 5, with some late night calls, sometimes due to calls with people from different countries. There were no local meetings for work and no known local coworkers. Instead, the meetings were held on Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is like fucking Zoom. Jared's boss is named Kevin. Jared has his work appointment set up in his Outlook, and he has one for the kids. Okay. Jared's hobbies are working on projects around the house. He also likes to run every day at the gym in their neighborhood, which he believes requires a key card to access. He usually goes there from 2 to noon to 2. He also plays Xbox a couple of times a week, and Kirsten indicated he plays Halo. He does play online with other people, and she will provide his Xbox account name. They have a membership to the YMCA, but have only been approximately 3 times as their daughter did not like the daycare. To her knowledge, Jared has not been there for months. Jared has a chiropractic appointment every Tuesday at Revolutions Chiropractic. The entire family goes every other week. So he goes once a week. The family goes every other week. This must be like a church thing with chiropractors.
Because they believe in natural things.
Okay. Jared had a Facebook, Jared Bridegan, and an Instagram. Not active in posting, but would peruse it. What? Recently reactivated as he deactivated it to be more present in the moment with her. Jared uses easily guessable passwords and has had the same email address since married to Gardner. Kirsten was able to get into his computer after 3 guesses at his password. Jared and his wife did most of the shopping together. Jared and his wife are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints located. They attend most Sundays. There are no routine appointments with kids except taking Abby to gymnastics on Wednesdays and Fridays. Jared does not regularly meet up with friends and has very few friends. Jared is closest to Kirsten, and next closest is his brother Adam and Carly, Adam's wife. Last time Jared went to Top Golf a couple of weeks ago to meet friends, Cody, Nick, and Brent. Cody and Nick are friends from previous congregation. Kirsten will provide their contact information. And this was his schedule, his final movements, like that Monday, then the Tuesday, then the Wednesday. After 19 hours, Gardner contacted Kirsten and stated Abby wanted to FaceTime with her. Abby and Kirsten FaceTime, and twice in conversation, Abby asked about Jared's will. The fuck? She's a 9-year-old asking about Jared's will.
What was the conversation? Was she parroting something?
That's just all it says. There's no further information to report this time. Like I said, you guys can go back there. And this is going to go on to report number 35. Again, I'm stopping at report number 30. This is 34. I'm stopping at report number 35 because that's going to conclude the first. Yeah, so his brother was interviewed. But look at this. Brandon, in reference to his surveillance video from the night of the incident, Mando advised his video was timestamped incorrectly, and he provided the wrong time frame. The video from the night of the incident has been copied over at this time. The video did not show the incident. However, you can hear the gunshots in the distance. What? It doesn't make any sense. The video from the night of the incident has been copied over at this time. The video did not show the incident. However, you can hear the gunshots in the distance. So did he take a recording of it himself, like with his phone? That's one thing I can think of. Now, at approximately, again, this is going to be Tuesday, February 22nd, they have an interview with Adam, who is Jared's brother. He described his brother as a creative person who kept a close group of friends, described his brother as not a social person. He would go to describe his brother as someone who was not confrontational. He described his brother as someone who was extremely patient with his children. Again, talking about where he went to school. Adam stated his brother met Gardner several years later while in Utah, and that's interesting because that is not what is going to come up. Jared was introduced to Gardner by Adam's wife. Adam would go on to explain how Gardner and Jared began dating. Adam would go on to explain his brother's marriage began very successful and Gardner's family loved him. Once Jared was married to Gardner, again, within 2 months, the couple began receiving money from Gardner's family. The money paid to members of the Gardner family was paid in reference to certain stipulations. The couple had to be married and actively seeking an education. Once Jared's children were born, his children, Liam, had a heart condition. Due to the heart condition, Liam could not live in high elevations. Gardner did not want to leave Utah, but they eventually moved to Connecticut to be close to the heart specialist. At this point in the marriage, Jared Bridegan began to become distant from the rest of Gardner's family. Adam stated due to his brother not really being social, it caused the Gardner family to not like his brother. While in Connecticut, Gardner had issues with postpartum depression and had issues losing weight. Jared began gaining weight and the couple became distant. Adam stated Gardner began manipulating her parents and laying groundwork for a divorce. Adam stated Gardner began talking to his wife about having an affair while married to his brother. Adam advised Gardner's behavior began to change and she withdrew from their friendship and the church. Gardner eventually had an affair with a personal trainer. Jared begged Gardner to keep the marriage together to keep from his children having divorced parents. Adam would explain Gardner was attempting to manipulate her parents and spreading rumors about his emotional abuse directed towards her. According to Adam, Gardner did this to keep receiving money from her parents. Adam would explain his brother was not one to talk on the phone. He would go on to explain he would talk to his brother weekly for work, but typically they would talk twice a month to check up on each other. The last time Adam spoke to his brother was on 2/13. The two joked about him calling during the Super Bowl because his brother was not into sports. Interesting. Adam advised his brother did not mention any issues other than the dispute over his daughter's baptism. Recently, Adam and his family planned a trip to Disney World in Orlando. Adam had planned on coming to St. Johns County to visit his brother. Due to car issues, he was unable to make this drive. Jared advised he was going to attempt to come to Orlando. Adam thought it was strange his brother wasn't able to make the trip. Kirsten called and apologized because she was dealing with stress over a meeting at the church in St. Johns County, which would involve Gardner and her husband. What the fuck does that even mean?
Hopefully they'll elaborate.
And then the fuck? Oh, this makes no sense. And we somehow got and these are all the reasons for the redactions. Now, so this is basically 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22. These are your first 7 days. Now, questions. What do we got for me? Can I have one of those things? What do we? Again, this is the first 7 days. Woo-wee. Again, this is what happens now in the next, when I read off the next reports, which is 35 to 58, it gets into investigating and in terms of like interviewing people. But inks. Again, when I started realizing here, and I've read it all, is that Mario is a swinger. Okay, Mario is a swinger.
I think everyone's been swinging.
Just let you guys know this. Mario is a swinger. Gardner is not. Okay. I come across a report, and it's talking about one of these guys, where you're going to find out here, is flagged on the FBI's wanted list for human sex trafficking. Okay. And his interview, I mean, these people are just all over the place. Okay. In these interviews. But I want to go look at this wiretapping. Who are the witnesses that were wiretapped? Because category B, wire monitors. Because I read all this shit. So Shanann's family income was from the parents. We're going to get into that. Actually, she worked 3 jobs. Patty says the investigation is thorough so far. Yeah, it is. And what we get into is, let me see that stack of 35 to 58. I want to see something really quick. Let me see this. Okay, yeah, here. Okay. I don't see, okay. They were getting divorced. Mario and Gardner were getting divorced. They were only married for the purpose to, because, like, to help her around the house with the kids. The kids couldn't, if she's married to him, then Jared can't say anything. You know, Jared didn't want them around, like, nobody, unless you're going to be married, you're not going to have a say into this, like, that they can be around. So they get married really quick, not because they like each other, but because basically he helps her with the kids. She was working 3 jobs.
But they had an affair.
No, they did not have an affair. This is not the guy that she had an affair with. She didn't even know him then. And the guy that she had an emotional connection with, they did not have any type of sexual relationship, was this guy, Matt. But wait till you hear her interview. Like, that's going to start getting into it. But what I think is crazy is there's no, I mean, why is Mario taking out Jared? He's leaving. There's no money here. Mario is banging other chicks in their home and recording it. And that's going to come out in this investigation. He's literally taking pictures of naked women that he's swinging with. And he's known as this. And I thought for sure they're going to be like, oh my God, like, she was a swinger. No, she's not a swinger. They tried to have a relationship, but it was their friends. Like, they were just like, where do you see all of this? It's wild. It's wild because it's like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. There is no, yeah. Like, he's not there. They were already getting divorced before this incident happened. Like, already knew, like, that. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say because
Swingers got you tongue twisted there?
no, there's just no, like, they got divorced, what was it, 6-7 years ago.
Years in Bay by Jared and
Jared and I got, you know, I read through their whole divorce proceeding. Jared left and went to Utah.
He left the kids?
Yeah, he left the kids and went to Utah. And she just, you know, let him do that. And when he would come home every other weekend, she, you know, so they just.
For work? Left in what way do you mean left?
Yeah, it was allegedly for work. And then he was gone for a whole year. But he was trying to come back like every other weekend to, like, then that would be like his weekend with the kids. But they had 50-50 arrangements at that time.
Okay. Were they sharing the same house?
No, they were divorced. They were divorced.
So already divorced. Okay.
And so then when he came back, you know, obviously they never put in temporary orders either. She just, like, let him, like, okay, yeah, you're just gonna come every other weekend type thing. But they put nothing in writing. So then when he then does return a year later, she's like, well, I wanted to say the same. Like, what the fuck? But they never put anything in writing. So when it came down to it, like, you don't have a leg to stand on, Gardner, because these are the this is the papers. Yeah, you can go forward with it or whatever, but you're gonna still have to go to court and yada yada yada. So they just then resumed that next year of everything was back to the way it was. And
what do you mean by everything went back to the way it was?
The 50-50 split, like, 1 week on, 1 week off. The victim was found outside the car, right at the door of the front driver's seat, like, on the ground. You're welcome there, War Eagle.
Also, in case people don't know the whole story about the tire, did you go over that?
Yeah. Yeah, the tire was in the middle of the road. And people think that like he got out of the vehicle because of that and to like go and get out and do something. No, the tire was in the middle of the road, I think, to just like possibly I think there was a vehicle there as well. Because of we get to hear and see where the gun, like the projection of the gun. Somebody came up to the side. They shot him at the side of like the door being opened, and he was in his vehicle still. So it's not like he got out of the vehicle.
What if that ricocheted to the 2-year-old?
So why were the hazards on? I don't know if maybe he hit a button after the fact. But it's clear as day based on the trajectory of the bullets and where they came in.
You mean where the projectiles are on the floor?
Well, yeah, that, but also how he was shot. He was right there at the door. He was shot in his shoulder too. So that's interesting to me that he was shot twice. Then they want to talk about these drag marks that I want to go over. Like, so we're going to go back over that. I just want to make sure that you guys have all the information that you guys can go back and review things. And then we're going to have a big discussion of, because I'm going to put the streets up. I'm going to show you guys these streets that they're talking about, because they eventually get to they use camera footage from one of the businesses that is right over there. I don't see what Mario would have anything to do with this. He's not going to be with them anymore. Unless there was some, and I think that's what they're kind of going with. In 2015, you're saying that this arrangement got put into place, but then you got to bide your time and wait and do this in 2022. There's talks about that in the paperwork, that this was something that was talked about back then. There is an interview that comes up, and I think you guys are going to see, like, it was her drinking with her tattoo artist guy and some friends. I don't see why in the world Mario. I almost feel like Mario did this quite possibly, if anything, to like get at like Gardner in a way. This is, I mean,
But okay, you have to admit, look.
They're not going to be together. He's.
It's a special friendship.
But it's a weird thing. Like there's no like
who are you gonna marry?
Why would I kill somebody for like? There's just no reason. Like, oh, I'm just gonna kill somebody for you, but I'm not even like with you. We're not like in love.
You would have been the person that also married me to be around my kids. So that's a special kind of friendship. You know what I mean? Like.
I guess you can look at it like, if we don't stay married, then Jared's not going to let me be around the kids anymore. But that's like a he problem.
I don't even know if that's, but like, think about it.
It's really fucking weird. It's wait till you guys see all these papers that come out. It's just so fucking weird, because I don't, it wasn't like, it is motherfucking bizarre. That's all I have to say. What the fuck is going on here? Why did you shoot this man?
Why did you hire somebody to? Yeah, I mean,
what are you getting out of it?
And why do you use a
What the fuck are you getting out of shooting this man? Unless you don't like this man personally, like it. Why would Mario pay?
Mario statements?
Why would Mario pay? Yeah, we can go look at Mario statements. Why the fuck are you writing checks out? $2,000 check, then a $3,000 check, and then a $5,000 check, and asking this guy that used to live at your house to just come by and like, he's your tenant.
But criminals aren't smart. Hello. But they used a $10 million.
Like right now, I've read through everything, and what I can tell you right now that I see is nothing that ties the girl, Gardner, to this at all. Like, they didn't.
Jamie, just go ahead and say it.
Yeah, in my opinion, I've read all the papers. I've gone through it.
What is going to be very interesting when you get to the other parts, and everyone's probably waiting on pins and needles for it. Especially her interview, right?
Let me tell you something. Gardner and Mario, okay, she parented a certain way. And he was like, yeah, we're just not going to work out because like our parenting styles are totally different. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, little shrimp midget boy, like I'm going to parent my kids how I want to parent my kids. Okay. Like, you're the fucking pool boy. Like you're like, I don't know. Like all I have to say is if these kids are going to be drug into this and have to testify, that's what I see, because that's going to not be, it's wild. It's wild. It's wild because of the accusations in there. I just,
even like shooting, even if like,
he wanted the kids to stand up to them, to like their dad. Why the fuck are you shooting this man?
and also the two, you know,
like it's way over. Like it's
overkill.
No, you're not staying with this woman. You want to go, he's a swinger and he doesn't want to be, there's nothing here. The only thing that I see here is that if he's not going to be married to her anymore, then you're not going to be around the kids, and he doesn't want to lose the kid, like his relationship with the kids. You guys, it's fucking just wild. I don't even know I just don't know how to say it. This is, and then when you interview, oh my God, this Henry guy, this Henry Tennon, his interview.
For people that just got here, maybe don't know who that is, tell them.
Well, he's the guy that got arrested. He's the guy that they're saying is the shooter. But in his interview, he's like, I wasn't there. Somebody took my fucking truck. I was told to meet at the taco stand, like crazy shit. And then this guy, Danny, just took my fucking truck. And he's like, yeah, that bastard Danny boy. And I'm like, whoa. And he's like giving people rides. He went to the methadone clinic, and I don't fucking even know, man.
Their methadone clinic too? Florida.
I'm just like, fuck, where's like the motive in this? Like
money?
But there's no, she's in a prenuptial agreement.
Are you talking about Tennon?
I'm talking about she doesn't even have her trust anymore. Jared and her she had a trust, and they blew it on some app that didn't work out. You guys are going to find out about this. The parents gave them $150,000. The parents, and then she took $150,000 of her money, gave it to Jared, so $300,000 to put into this app that just flopped.
But do you think that means that money is gone? Like, when you're a trust fund, baby, even if you're cut off from the trust, you're still going to get money. Like, who's supporting her with her case right now? Her parents. So, I mean, you're still going to get your money.
Well, listen, he wanted the kids to go to a certain school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, I want them to go to this school. And so what she said is here, you don't have to pay me child support anymore if they can go to this school. And he said, okay, deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't look good. Like, if I was adamant on my kid having a certain education because it was a better school, but so I got out of paying money, and I mean, that just makes it look like it's about money.
Sure.
Listen, I don't know what this crazy little midget did. This Mario Fernandez guy, El Saldana did. Okay, but I've read all this shit, and I'm over here just like
shaking your head.
What the fuck? It's like those two have like a pissing contest or something, Jared and him, and.
But listen,
all of the tenants never said that they were like, we don't even know he was married. We've never seen this broad. We've never seen Shanna Gardner. We didn't even know he was married. That's what these crack asses that are fucking buying and renting his property or some shit.
What property?
The property that he had, that where Henry Tennon was living for 7 or 8 years. And then so he's like, hey, you want to come with me and go shoot this dude?
And he's like, yeah, for methadone.
But like, for what? Like, and then here I'm going to pay you in checks.
Mm.
And then you guys are going to think that Shanna Gardner's family's in on that shit? Like,
screw the family.
No, I don't. That's what people think. That's what this all started, like, that they paid, like it's the Adelson thing. Like,
yes, so similar.
That's what they're trying to say. And I read through the documents in the police interviews.
What's up in Florida?
And I just don't see that. I don't, there's no.
But listen, if you're Shayna and you know this dude that's your friend that you married, let's say we're going with that narrative, is a midget who is into swinging, you're allowing this weirdo into your kid's life. Like, you're still allowing him. Like, you fought that hard for him to be in your kid's life.
Because
why?
He was like her babysitter.
You
being
can't
serious.
find another sitter, man.
I swear.
I want a sitter who maybe like watches like something else instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Where was they interview Gardner? Yeah, here. Her first interview was March 1st. And his here, I want to read his interview.
Okay, yes, read it, please, because
okay, I'm going to read his interview.
And by his, you mean Mario.
Mario.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay.
Everyone gets a special treat, right? Because you said
this is their first this is his first interview.
So everyone get ready.
Mario,
so what are we gonna say?
Saldana. Midget man. I'll go over it again. I said, hey, I want a marathon style with this, but this is wild. Okay, at approximately 9:52, the interview was conducted in interview room 89. Mario began describing how he met Gardner while he was working at Black Hive CrossFit Gym in Jacksonville Beach.
That's why I thought it was him.
Okay. Mario Fernandez Saldana was introduced to Gardner's children at this time.
Gosh.
Okay.
Mistake.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in just a tad bit. It's just a wild, like, this is gonna be wild.
Well, are they gonna make it a movie about it?
Again, the situation between him and Gardner was described as unique. So this is right away. This is like the first interview, March 1st. Like, yeah, well, come on down. This was a unique dynamic with Jared. Fernandez Saldana explained they sealed the deal very quickly. That's what that in quotes. Sealed the deal very quickly. It is in quotes.
It has to be.
It is in quotes. This was done because Fernandez Saldana would not be able to have a role with the children until they were married. Okay.
That makes sense.
So
Mormon family. Yeah.
Well, so Saldana stated he made an attempt to speak to Jared once he was married to Gardner. Mario Saldana Fernandez advised Jared did not respond to this request. The conversations had between the two families were usually conducted by text messages and email. Fernandez Saldana described the conversations between Jared as pestering.
Wow.
Okay. Pestering. Fernandez Saldana would go on to describe a specific situation while picking the children up from Jared. Fernandez Saldana walked up to Jared's house and knocked on the door. Like, I'm here to pick up the kids.
Oh, and Shanna mentions this.
Shanna
mentions this.
As the kids opened the door, the kids told him he is not allowed to knock on the door. The children would normally leave the house when a text message was sent signaling the other party has arrived. Fernandez Saldana told the children he would do whatever he wants. Jared sent Fernandez Saldana an email stating he would file a restraining order if he ever came to his door again. Again, just total bullshit for these kids to have to deal with.
Exactly.
This is unfucking believable. And that the kids would actually say that to him. Fernandez Saldana would go on to explain the only time everyone was in the same room was usually in court. Fernandez Saldana stated he attempted to shake his hand while in court one time, but Bridegan refused to acknowledge him. He would continue to explain how Bridegan and his wife would not acknowledge their presence when at events with the children. Fernandez Saldana would explain how the kids were afraid to ask Bridegan questions over a fear of rejection. Abigail once asked if she could dye her hair purple. Bridegan told Abigail she would not be accepted into the church if she had purple hair. Fernandez Saldana took the children to a bishop for the Church of Latter-day Saints, who they happened to be friends with. According to Fernandez Saldana, Bridegan drove to the local Church of Latter-day Saints in Neptune Beach and confronted the bishop. Okay, now you have to remember, this is after, in March 1st, after the woman, Curie, tells the police about this incident and that Jared lost his shit. Okay? According to Fernandez Saldana stated, Bridegan got into an argument with the bishop because he was befriending Gardner. He would go on to explain how Bridegan drove by the bishop's house, and this prompted the bishop to contact their legal section. Fernandez Saldana began explaining how date night worked when Bridegan was picking the children up. Fernandez Saldana stated when Bridegan arrived, he would text here, and the children would exit the house and get into the car with their father.
See, that even sucks.
When the children would arrive, they would simply go through the garage if open, and if not, they knew how to work the keypad. He would continue describing how the dogs would bark and alert them the children were home. There were no agreement to tell the other parent where the kids would go for date night. So Fernandez Saldana would go on to explain date night on 2/16/2022, the night of the incident. Jared arrived at 18:30 hours and sent a text message saying here, the kids returned at the agreed upon time. Fernandez Saldana advised he did not see the kids come in, but he did say he heard them enter the residence. He would advise he was racked out on the couch. Once the children came in, he stated he went upstairs and took a shower. Fernandez Saldana advised Gardner greeted the children when they arrived. Fernandez Saldana continued to advise he was really out of it due to taking, what did you say it was?
It's supposed to be gabapentin.
Gabapentin?
Gabapentin.
Yeah, well, that's how they spelled it.
Interesting.
Fernandez Saldana stated he was taking
gabapentin.
Yeah. I'll just read it like this. It's easier for me. He was saying he was taking really high doses and became zoned out. He continued to say that night he was more out of it than anything. Fernandez Saldana advised he and Gardner asked the kids about date night. The kids told them they went to Bearded Pig, and this particular date was fine. The children informed Fernandez Saldana Bridegan was on the phone for a while before they entered Bearded Pig. Fernandez Saldana would go on to explain that whatever gabapentin is a nerve blocker, which he uses for pain and headaches. Fernandez Saldana stated the medication makes him drowsy. He would continue to explain he takes a high dose. After the children went to sleep, Fernandez Saldana did laundry while Gardner completed chores around the house. The two were getting ready for bed when detectives arrived to inform Gardner of Bridegan's death. Fernandez Saldana advised when detectives arrived, he thought it may have been because of an ongoing dispute over animals in the neighborhood. Fernandez Saldana stated Bridegan was not a confrontational person. However, he would describe Bridegan as a keyboard warrior. He would
basically calling him like a wuss. You get
he
it?
would explain how Bridegan would avoid Gardner whenever they were at a doctor's appointment. He would continue to explain how Bridegan fought against Gardner when it came to placing one of their kids on ADHD medicine. Fernandez Saldana would continue to describe disagreements over Liam's medical issues. Fernandez Saldana began talking about disputes with Bridegan over the children's education. Fernandez Saldana advised they took Bridegan to court over placing the children into private school. The dispute was finally settled when Gardner agreed to eliminate the child support payments. It was explained Jared would not attend teacher-parent conferences with Gardner and Fernandez Saldana. These conferences would only be held jointly due to COVID-19 at that time. Fernandez Saldana would go on to explain the children's therapy and Jared's dispute with the sessions. Fernandez Saldana advised Jared did not want the children attending therapy because they were talking about Jared. This led Fernandez Saldana into talking about control over the children. Fernandez Saldana stated he felt the kids would be better off if Gardner had control over the custody. He would continue to advise if they could bend the custody to 60-40, the kids would be better off.
She's like, why does he have any say?
Yeah, 60-40. What the fuck is this guy talking? Fernandez Saldana stated he wanted to push Bridegan into a corner to force everyone to gather on the children. Fernandez Saldana advised they could just suck it. He doesn't care if they are uncomfortable. Basically, get everybody in the same room and let's hash this out. That's how I took that. He could just suck it. He doesn't care if they are uncomfortable. Mario Fernandez Saldana stated he is a confrontational person and he could shut them down if they had control of the custody. Fernandez Saldana continued to advise they wanted to push for a social investigation. Fernandez Saldana was asked what he thought happened to Bridegan. Fernandez Saldana stated it was a big speculation. Fernandez Saldana stated you need to get in line if you're looking for people who didn't like him.
But do you notice how disparaging it all is? And that's like one of the things you look
Jesus. You need to get in line if you want to look for people that didn't like him. Fernandez Saldana stated he hasn't been told anything, but he does know why he would get out of the car. Fernandez Saldana advised he thought he may have known who was in front of him. He would go on to explain if something was about to go down, he would run them over or speed away. Fernandez Saldana would go to explain there were plenty of people at Bridegan's church who didn't like him. He would go to explain the dispute over Gardner and Fernandez Saldana's presence at the memorial service. Due to this, Fernandez Saldana advised the children would not attend the service. Like, see what I'm saying? Like, hey, they're not attending then. If we can't all be there as a family, then we're not attending.
But like, why does he have a say?
But that's what I'm trying to say is like, and so Gardner is saying that, so she was interviewed at the same time, okay, and she says,
I bet you a lot of their arguments.
She was just like, we disagree on, like, you're not going to do, like, this isn't how this is going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, here, I want to read what she said.
Imagine the arguments with this little dude telling her, like, how to raise the kids and how things should be, because she's not confrontational. He's confrontational. He's like, you need to speak up more. The kids need to speak up more.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
So she's interviewed the same day, March 1st, at approximately 8:33
a.m.
So she stated she met Jared through his brother. She stated Jared and her were both single, so Jared flew out to Utah to take her on a date. She lived in Utah, and he was not even living in Utah. She stated the initial date did not go well, but he kept pursuing her. Gardner stated she became desperate, so she decided to try to make it work.
Do you see? It's disparaging.
She stated they were married after 2 months. What the fuck?
That's a church, man. Living in
Was she?
sin.
Was she pregnant?
No,
I think she was pregnant. If you actually go look at the math,
Maybe.
of the months, okay.
Can't
She stated, looking back, she wonders if Jared did not have ulterior motives, knowing she came from money. Gardner stated they had kids which was a huge strain due to her son's illness. They moved from Utah to Connecticut due to Liam having a medical condition that required him to be close to his specialist. Once Liam was stable, they moved to Jacksonville, where Jared's family was from, so they could have help with the kids. Less than a year after moving to Jacksonville, they got divorced, and she left the Mormon church. She stated Jared drained their accounts. She stated the divorce was traumatic since Jared refused to move out of their house. Gardner stated the home was purchased with money from her trust, but once the funds were removed from her trust, the property became a joint asset. She stated Jared wanted his half of the proceedings from the selling of the house. She stated in March 2015, Jared started getting paranoid and everything had to be written down. He would not communicate verbally with Gardner.
But you see, maybe
What the fuck? You guys, this is crazy. Hold on. Remember, though, this is not till March 1st. We're only at February 22nd in the investigation because...
So a week later is March 1st.
Yeah, because there's actually a lot of stuff that happens in that week of people coming to the police that they're interviewing, and they're not saying what they're saying what this woman is saying. Okay, where are they? Okay. Once the divorce was finalized, Jared did not want to be in the same room as her. They had separate parent-teacher conferences, and they would conduct doctor's appointments via phone. However, Gardner stated she would just show up since she did not care. Like, I'm just going to show up to where? Probably the doctor's appointment? I don't fucking know.
No, that's what it sounds like.
And you're allowed to. Nobody can tell you that you can't do that in divorce. It doesn't matter.
And it's just hard for the kids.
Yeah, that's just wild. During their marriage, she stated Jared was a hermit and only wanted to hang out with her or play his toys.
See?
Or play with his toys.
It's all disparaging.
Yeah, I mean, during family vacations, he was happier sitting in the hotel room versus spending time with her family. Gardner stated Jared was never physically or verbally abusive, even stating she could count on one hand how many times Jared yelled at her. But he would have a rude undertone, especially in text messages and emails. She stated he knew how to be charming when he needed to, but it was not his natural personality. She stated he could be very bipolar. She stated Jared's family friend, who was a therapist, would often tell him about his deficits in his personality and asked Gardner if Jared would be interested in seeing a therapist. Shanna stated Jared changed through their divorce since emotions were heightened. When they were living in Utah and then Connecticut, Jared would not let her have friends and would be suggestive about how she should appear and dress. She stated they finally went to therapy, but it was too late. She stated Jared would state during therapy that he did not have a problem, and she was the one that needed to change. She stated she started to vent to people at the YMCA and started to realize that the relationship was not normal. Shanna stated she met a trainer at the gym and became emotionally involved with him. This made her realize she had deeper feelings for the trainer than she did for her own husband. She stated that was the beginning of the end. Jared assumed she had an affair, which he started to tell others, including their church members. She stated Jared started to bash her publicly. Gardner stated when they first separated, Jared did not know how to care for the children as far as using the restroom and feeding them. She stated this caused issues with the kids, but she got them into therapy. She stated Jared was against the kids seeing a therapist. Gardner stated on date night, it was every other week, originally from 17:45 hours to 19:45 hours, but switched it to 18:30 to 19:45 about December of 2021, which would be like only 2 months before the murder, since Abby had gymnastics. She stated that Jared wanted to cancel date night, but the kids did not, so they just adjusted the time. The time was always the same, and they typically kept them the entire time. I asked if they shared plans with each other, but she stated they do not. However, they would typically ask the kids what they did when they returned. Gardner stated they were both home when the kids were dropped off. However, she did run to Walmart while the kids were gone. The typical routine was Jared would text when he arrived and the kids would go out and get in the car. At the end of the night, he would let the kids out of the car and they would go in through the garage. She stated she was at the stove with headphones on cooking her dinner. She had just returned from Walmart. Mario had a really bad headache and he was asleep. She stated Abby likes to wait outside for Jared to turn around in the cul-de-sac and come to the stop sign so they can wave goodbye. She stated they were dropped off according to Abby at 1948 hours. She stated Abby was very adamant about the time. She was asked if the kids mentioned anything out of the ordinary about the evening. She stated no. The only thing that was mentioned was he was on a work call when they first arrived at the restaurant and had to eat quickly to get home in time. Which was something that I noted because I was like, Jesus, that was the quickest trip. She stated some contention has come up since the kids cannot come to the funeral since his family did not want her at the service.
But why can't the kids go?
She stated the kids are handling this better than expected, but are still in shock. She stated since the households are so divided, they are not being triggered. She stated Liam got upset when it was time for him to see Jared, and Abby has spoken more about missing his sisters. I asked Gardner if she would be open to the twins talking to a child psychologist. She said that she would need to ask their therapist and would get back to me. It should be noted she agreed to the interview, which is scheduled for Friday, March 4th. Gardner was asked if Mario and she were married. She stated they were married on Friday the 13th.
It's like all I can ask you.
Friday the 13th, that made me roll. 2018 in Jacksonville. So they got married in 2018, Friday the 13th. Don't know.
What month?
She doesn't say what month.
She's just like, it was just some random.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th and 2018.
Nobody originally knew they got married. She stated they did not know each other very well when they were married. She stated Mario wanted to help her with the kids, but the only way Jared would allow that is if they were married. She stated Mario and she had just started to date, and they traveled to Utah to see her parents, and her mother suggested they get married. Gardner stated she knew they would not be a typical marriage, but for the convenience and built into a relationship.
Oh, God.
They wanted what was best for the kids. She was asked if Mario and Jared have ever been around Jared. What? She stated Mario had only met Jared once in court. She stated Mario attempted to introduce himself to Jared, and he would not shake Mario's hand. She stated there was a time when Mario went to pick up the kids for date night, and he purposely went up and knocked on the door of Jared's house, knowing this would upset Jared. See? She stated she avoided confrontation, but Mario did not. Gardner apologized for being long-winded and stated she was told to only give yes or no answers. She stated most of the communication started to come from Kirsten, but Jared did not like it when Mario would communicate about the kids. So she's basically saying like it was okay for Kirsten to communicate with us, but then if Mario did it, he'd get pissed. Gardner mentioned that Jared was engaged to someone else prior to Kirsten living in Utah. Remember I told you guys he went to Utah? Jared had a good job making good money. She then took him to court asking for child support since she was struggling to pay the bills, and she was working 3 jobs. She stated Jared threatened to quit his job and move back to Jacksonville to not pay child support, which he did. She stated that Jared's fiance came with him, not realizing what she was getting into. Oh my God. Oh my God, listen to this. However, she quickly moved away. Gardner stated that Jared's fiance texted her frantic, stating there had been a fight and the police were called. She offered to his fiance to come to her house. She wasn't just driving around upset. Gardner stated she was just broken spiritually.
like, I know how that feels, honey. I was married to the man.
Gardner stated she stayed with her for 2 days and then moved back to Colorado.
But to me, it's still like disparaging stuff that your kids are gonna, like it could be
It
true.
all just depends on who the writer of the report is, too.
Mhm.
I would just like to hear all of this. Gardner
Yes.
also mentioned that Jared wanted his fiance to be referred to as mom, and that Gardner was not their heavenly mother, but only their biological mother. What the fuck? I'm sorry, but I would be pissed if somebody
No, these kids have been through hell.
yeah, I mean, you can't
For
quote
both
this
sides.
for nothing.
Like, it's ridiculous. You don't bring kids into things like that.
Gardner also mentioned that Jared wanted his fiance to refer to as mom, and that Gardner was not their heavenly mother, but only their biological mother.
God.
She stated after Jared's fiance left him, he met Kirsten approximately 2 months later. They got married, and the same conversation came up about who to call mom. Gardner was asked if she knew the name of Jared's ex-fiance. She provided the name of Emily and a phone number. She also stated, "Good luck with Mario. He is like a pit bull."
Setting it all up.
She stated, "He is going to be super serious." Like, good luck with Mario. He's really a pit bull. He's going to be super serious. Like, do you think this is somebody that is like, is this the stuff that you would say if you knew that this all just occurred? And that,
Yes, I would.
What?
If I'm setting him up, hell yeah. Like, I don't want to be caught. Good luck with that guy. He carries a gun all the time. He's really crazy.
there's more.
Good luck.
Gardner mentioned that the timing of all of this is weird. This is important. Gardner mentioned the timing of all of this is weird because she had just decided to let go of the frustration and to just make the best of the situation, which Mario would have known.
Well, see, but that's her saying. That's like her.
She stated in moments of anger, she has thought how much easier this would be, but ultimately, she wished no ill will on them, Jared and Kirsten. Gardner stated she is willing to do whatever she can to help because nobody should have to go through this. She offered to give us text messages between her and Jared, but her attorney recommended we request those through them.
You know who really shouldn't go through that? Her kids. And she should have thought about that. I'm not saying she did it, but I'm just saying having someone like Mario, sheesh.
Good luck with Mario. He's a real pit bull.
God.
Okay. Again, this is going to be wild. This is going to be a wild fucking case. Like, wild.
Did you want to read Tennant's thing now, or you just went through and read them two, or you want to save that for part 2?
I
think you should save a nugget for
there's
part-
tons of nuggets in this thing.
Oh,
I just
know. But
everybody was interviewed. Nobody lawyered up. Not a single person lawyered up. Every single fucking person in this case, nobody said, I want to talk to my attorney. Well, except Henry.
Did you do a proffer?
No, not that I know of. So this is my question now. Now that I know, like, what I've read, with everything that has been happening and this whole, like, client attorney privilege information, here you go. Now I know what they're talking about. They had subpoenas for all of their shit, so they were able to get all of these, like, emails and, like, at the beginning of this case. And that's why Stifler's
Mom?
yeah, that's why she's involved. And none of that information was vetted. Like, it wasn't sent to a team to say what you can and can't go through because there's, if I was to email my attorney, if I, this client attorney privilege information. And so it's going to be a fucking mess because Gardner had an attorney right off the rip because it was for the kids with the media. They were taking pictures of the kids at, the park during the funeral.
Those kids have been through enough, and they're going to be going through a lot more. Huh?
Yeah, I think people are trash when they do stuff like this and don't think about their kids. I think it's all trash.
That's like the majority of humans.
I'm sorry, but that's my feeling on
They
this.
don't think about kids, they always think about themselves.
But the wire, like how all of this came about, it's going to be super interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's why I wanted to break it down with you guys. And I was going through all of it, the way that, how did they get to certain things? What evidence came forward that you're going this way or going that way? And what reports were written up and, I should read what's his names.
No, don't, just wait.
No, I
You will?
No. I mean, I'm gonna wait. I'm just saying, like, I gotta put my thing back in order because I just flipped it the wrong way, and I can't have that.
Oh,
I can't fucking have that type of mistake on my
oh.
shit. There we go.
So
The shooter was Mario's tenant. That's what he's saying, but we'll see. It's once you actually read the reports, the shooter might be actually somebody else, but
whatever.
yeah, Biggerstaff bought the 10 millimeter on January 26, 2022.
Can someone from Florida who knows arms tell us if 10 millimeter in Florida is like super common? Because in California, if you're going to commit an anonymous murder, you're not going to go get a 10 millimeter, which is, an off. What
are the odds? What are the odds that somebody goes and looks up and goes and buys a 10 millimeter, gun, who's a fucking felon, who's on the FBI wanted list for fucking human trafficking, all right? That's what's about to happen and come out in this case. And so this guy looks it up, goes and I believe purchases it, and Jared is shot on February 16th with a 10 millimeter.
Wait, and what day did he purchase it? Are you saying that?
Well, Mario Saldanha was banging Biggerstaff's wife, Maria, as he was taking naked pictures in his home of her.
Did Biggerstaff not have a bigger staff? I mean,
no, they all knew because they were He's like, this is my lifestyle. We're like swingers.
Is his real name?
But they didn't come out at first.
Biggerstaff.
Never heard of a 10 millimeter, right? Exactly.
Right. So it's a 1 off of a 9, and there's more. Like if you go to an ammo store,
this is about to get wow. I'm telling you.
If you ask for a 9 millimeter round, you're gonna have 30 different brands to choose from. If you ask for a 10 millimeter, you might get like one brand. So why would you make an anonymous murder with a 10 instead of a 9 where it could be like not as traceable? Like you're gonna be able. It's gonna be easier for the cops to trace 10 millimeter rounds.
Unethical pro tip there for murder?
It's 2022. Who's paying for hits with checks?
Which?
Okay.
Saldano.
Like, excuse me?
Well, he could say it was for maintenance.
Well, but guess what? He did work with Saldanha.
That's what
They were filling in pool. Like he was like a.
Right.
Wait till you see all this stuff.
And that's what I would say too. If I was that dumb, and I'd be like, that's just payment. That's why I do with the check, duh. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, 10 millimeter long,
If you can't do it yourself, you shouldn't even be talking about it.
Well, nah. So
this is gonna be wild. That's all. This is going to be absolutely fucking wild. Because what Henry says, it's so fucking off the wall.
Stay tuned.
It is the most off the wall shit. And they arrested him in 2022.
You should show that arrest.
July/August of 2022. Holding him there. Then they arrest Saldana in like January-ish, February-ish of 2023. Then they arrest Gardner in August of 2023. And everything that I've seen, nothing is tying her to any of these fucking whack jobs.
Well, I mean, she's tied to the whack job, the midget whack job.
Yeah, but like
He
he seems like he just fucking does whatever he wants.
She likes it.
So that's what I don't understand. Like, she just agrees with what he does. Like, he's like, they're not like.
It's exciting, probably.
I don't know, man.
I mean, for her, you know. It's just when you have kids, you got to make better decisions. That's all. You can't just think with to be around my children.
And see, the other thing that's super weird with this is when the cops end up going to the residence of where Henry Tennon used to live, there's a tire. There's a fucking tire in the middle of like in the ditch right by like the trash. We're talking all these months later. There's a matching tire.
Wait, matching? You didn't say matching.
Matching to the other one that's in the road.
No, stop it. What?
You can't make this shit up. That's why I'm just like, wait.
When
When they went there in July, wait till you hear what the officers just roll up and there's a fucking tire leaning up against the house. And I'm like,
pointing to the house.
I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
The murder was February 16th. There's then another matching tire.
Well, there's going to be four of them.
No, there was only.
No,
then they track this fucking tire and the other tire and at some discount tire. I mean, woo! Like I just don't even. And then they ask the tenants, oh, can we? They asked about this tire. They're like, oh, the guy's like, I have no idea. It was just fucking chilling there in the yard. So I picked it up and I put it on the side of the house because it was just laying there. And I'm like, laying where? In the yard. And then so the cops say, oh, can we take it? But none of this part was recorded. Oh, can we take that tire? And they're like, he's like, yeah, sure, I don't give a fuck. Take the tire. It was laying in my ditch in the front. And it's all these months later. And from my understanding and my reading the report, none of that part was recorded. And so here they go. They leave with this fucking tire. It's the matching tire to the tire that's in the middle of the road.
That's crazy.
And I said, what? And it's because, you guys, I should continue on my marathon. I should continue on these 35 to 58 supplementals because I'm like, how are we connecting Miss Gardner to this? Like, where the fuck's the juice on that? And we don't have that. And which obviously it's probably in the reports, like, 135 and after, because that just gets to the part of arresting Henry.
I just haven't stuck in that.
I just like, right here, this is it. What day was that on? February 24th is when they get this footage from the businesses.
Okay, what year?
That day. And then Rebecca, I was calling her Rebecca.
Oh yeah, it's Rebecca. It was
Lead
going with
sheet
the
saw car and
daddy.
vehicle backing up, possibly truck. This is the part. This is where it says that she advised she had went into the sanctuary at approximately 1945 hours and went and picked up some things without turning off her silver Toyota 4Runner, then left. As she was approaching the intersection of Jacksonville Drive and Sanctuary, she saw a vehicle with its flashers on midway between JTB and the intersection. She also saw a vehicle reversing from the southbound lane of Sanctuary Boulevard, and she knew the vehicle was an SUV or a truck due to the height of the reverse lights. She turned east on Jacksonville Drive and did not see where the vehicle went. She later asked her 12-year-old, who was in the front passenger seat, if he remembered what kind of vehicle he saw backing up, and he said it was a Ford truck.
Mm-hmm.
She asked how he knew it was a Ford truck, and he said it had 4x4 on the back of it. He thought 4x4 meant it was a Ford. She asked him if he was sure it was a truck like Daddy has and not like an SUV like Mommy had. She asked him what color it was, and he said black. She asked him if he was sure it could not have been dark blue, and he told her it was black. And I'm just wondering why this woman is asking about a blue fucking truck.
I'm just wondering if this.
Hey,
is
are you sure? You know,
Kids.
it's like, how do you know? How does this woman know to ask her kid? Are you sure it wasn't a dark blue truck?
I think kids are taking this. It's like going to be the midget.
No. But I'm saying
all
it
kids.
doesn't matter about that. What I'm talking about is how does this woman know anything about a dark blue truck on February 24th?
You tell me.
You tell me. Now, I will show you guys, because I obtained the video footage of what this image is, I believe. I sent it to myself, so let me see.
What this image is? What's the image?
Well, thank you, Heather One Dimple. I got your email. Let's see if I sent it to myself, if I did it right. Right there, got it. Boom. Yes, I did it right. Oopsies. Okay. Oh, God, I thought this was plugged in.
Did it die?
No, girl, it didn't die. I'm the best in the West.
Don't die.
The kids have to testify.
Yeah, now
I think there's going to be a ton of kids testifying in this
and
case.
it's sad.
Like,
Honey,
maybe
what kind of
they won't have to, because I don't. They got Henry to say that he did it and he was paid, so we'll see. But let's take a look at what I have. This is what came from. Where is? Now this is how you put on be on the lookout. Moscow.
Bolo.
This is how you do it. This is how we do it. You show the truck.
What color is it?
Okay.
Is it black? Is it blue?
This is what they had to work with. We'll start over here with this picture first. Okay. This is what Florida did.
This is Florida man.
Okay. Here we go. Right there's one of the pictures of it. Okay. Right there's the other picture of it. This is from one of the businesses on the left. And this is from a Ring camera. Okay. And then this is how Florida did it. But I'm not even sure if they ever even showed this, even did this. But this is what they had. Like, they never even showed this. Yes, that's correct. That's why I'm actually covering the case. They're trying to sever the two at the moment. I believe that they will. They got some issues there right now. Now, this guy, Henry, his dad passed away, and so because he never had a car, he always rode around in a bicycle.
Oh, I know someone.
Okay. Then his dad dies, and he drives down to like Georgia or North Carolina. Okay, and goes and picks up this truck from it was his dad's, and then literally comes back. And then this was so random that this guy even had a vehicle. And then here,
He has a tire.
at some point, he puts this vehicle in his name, but he doesn't have a working license. Now, all these months would go by, but he used this vehicle. But when he's interviewed, you guys just have to wait till you see it. But when he's interviewed, he's saying that he was not driving it. Some guy came and took his fucking truck, and then he was at Taco Lu. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I think that's a very clear image there. Okay, you can see the two-tone. So like one's the business, and then this is the ring, and then that's what you're looking at. But anyways, we'll pick all that up. This is going to be a wild case. It doesn't make, I mean, she's like, the timing of this is really weird. Now, unless she, knew this is going to happen, but.
Which that's also absolving herself. Like, look, I'm ready to pass all this way. Like, I didn't even care. So the timing's like really.
Also, it's very risky because both parties were taking, like, what's her name was usually going with him on these trips to go have like the date night.
Abigail?
No, Kirsten was going on the date nights, and then because of the newborn baby being born and her sleep habit, that changed. So that changed, and the timing changed.
Well, that was interesting that you say that, because in what Shanna said, I noticed that she said I wouldn't want to hurt them because only Jared got hurt. So I was like wondering why she said that, and there you go. I mean, it's just bizarre. I'm sorry, just. Obviously, statement analysis it's called a junk science, but there's something to it, and I believe in it. And that's just.
We know you believe in it, though.
Yeah,
we know you believe in it.
It just sits kind of weird. It's just bizarre to me that she would say it that way. Because again, it's like absolving herself.
That's a super clear camera image, yeah. Yeah.
But we will see. What you think and what you can prove.
Oh no, that's a restaurant. Anyway, it's gonna get really, really interesting. But we'll be back. Join me tonight, Idaho 4, and then tomorrow I'm recapping since there's no court in Harmony's case due to it being a holiday. I will be recapping that. Big bomb there at the end, last Friday, with a witness coming forward saying that they were watching the trial, and because of things that were getting revealed, she's like, or he's like, because I don't know if it's a boy or girl, saying, I have information that you need in this case. Can you guys come interview me? I'll come in. And the judge. So the police interview this person, then the prosecution's giving to the prosecution. Now the prosecution's going to the judge saying, can we use this? So we're going to see what's filed with that. And I'm still unclear as to why we watched 30 minutes of video from Walmart. And I want to know why Adam and where his jacket went. Okay, so if anybody knows why Adam
Who
didn't,
has a jacket?
who has the black jacket and why did he remove it? Usually people are going to try to steal, like, you need your jacket, right?
Well, you could be really slick. Be a slick stuff.
So, but yeah, there's your marathon. But in order to follow the case, because we're going to be following this case very, very closely, know the documents, and we'll do the documents some more. Thank you guys for being here. Much love. See you soon. Peace. Yes, in 2015. That's correct. And they were drinking and they were out to drink, and it was in like an alleged, joking manner. So we'll see. Love all of you people. All of you are beautiful. All of you are beautiful. We are here for the truth and nothing but the truth.